Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, Dustin Fox, Jason Lloyd, Tyvis Powell, plus, ba-da-da-da-da, you're loving him, Mikey McNuggets. And so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show starts now. Booyah!
Welcome, everybody. It's the ultimate Cleveland sports show. It is, I don't even know what day it is, guys.
Thursday.
I've been up since 1:30 in the morning.
Why?
I went to bed early last night. Well, let me say hi to Earl.
4?
Who's here? Jason, who's
You
here.
in bed by 5?
We've got Mike. We've got Steve.
Hi,
we've
Earl.
got Anthony.
When's the last time we did a panel together?
It's been a while.
July?
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
I went to bed at like 10-something, which is early for me.
Okay.
And I woke up at 1:30 in the morning, went and used the bathroom. You know, you get older, you use the bathroom, right?
Yeah.
So then
I'm
I get
there.
back to bed and my mind's going. Sometimes your mind's just going. You're thinking about whatever the hell you're thinking about. I don't even remember what I was thinking about. I laid there for a half hour. I couldn't go to sleep.
You gonna wake up your wife and tell her to give you Cubs facts to put you back to sleep?
I've done that.
I know.
Well, I've done that to help me wake up. But, and then I just got out of bed and I started watching some show that I like, some cheese bowl show called The Lincoln Lawyer.
Oh, bless you. Watch that.
Yeah, it's really cheesy, but I like it.
She liked it.
Yeah. This season was just so ridiculous. But anyway, so I stayed up all night just watching this stupid show, and that's it. Earl's got a better story, right?
Yeah, so I was
my-
not present at the Cleveland Cavaliers game last night. Had better things to do, more important things to do.
Yeah.
Yesterday was senior night at Warrensville High School. And shout out
That's
to my daughter.
very cool.
That's awesome.
I-
Did
Ayana
you make
Mulder.
that, or did
No.
the school make that?
So her mother has a friend that does this kind of work.
Yeah.
And she got 2 of these. I asked her if I could have one.
That's
but
awesome.
It was a very, very cool night, very cool event. Shout out to the other fellow seniors that was there. They had the entire family walk out, and when they had the entire family walk out, she kind of looked at me like I was gonna get some news, and
Yeah.
they kind of gave accolades on each player.
Cool.
And at the end, they said she's committed to Ohio State, and I just kind of looked at her with this smile because she has applied at Ivy League schools,
Yeah.
HBCUs, Power 5 schools,
Yeah.
and she has gotten a full academic scholarship to every single
That's
school
incredible.
that she's applied
That is
at.
so
Amazing.
awesome.
She also has the highest GPA of any athlete in the history of Warrensville High School. That includes Steve Sanders, who played for the Browns for a little bit, and our very own Brad Sellers. Check
Yeah,
that out. So
yeah.
shout out to my
Smarter
baby.
than Brad.
Yeah, smarter than Brad. So, you know,
That is so impressive.
we live in a world to where you see a lot of people get athletic scholarships
Yeah.
and, you know, go to D1 schools based off their athletic ability. But for her to kind of get that same recognition, and it's based off her mind and her brain and her intelligence, that hit a little bit harder, because if you keep yourself well and if it's God's will, you know, you will be mentally sound, that you can make more money in the long run, you know, doing something else than you can being an athlete. So
Now tell him what she's going to school for.
she is going to school to be a heart surgeon.
That's
You know,
awesome.
and that is something that me and Jason talk about off the record all the
Yeah.
time. He's like, man, I think your daughter got the coolest story. If you ever need any help, I got an inside track. Help her get to wherever she needs to
It
be.
ain't me.
Yeah, I know it ain't you. Man, you do the same thing for a living. So,
Well,
but she'll be
Obviously,
down
you're
there.
very proud, as
Yeah,
you
as
you
should
should
be.
be.
So-
That's quite an accomplishment.
Yeah, she'll be down there at Ohio State. I got a
Yeah.
cousin who got a double doctorate from Ohio State. Her husband
Right.
is D. Miller. Then, of course, I got Tyvis down there. So she got some people down there that's going to look after her when she get down
That's
there.
cool.
Very, very excited for her.
I'm sure she's excited to take the next step in her life.
Yeah, for sure. For
She's
sure.
about halfway
That's
through
awesome.
school.
She just turned 18.
If she's
What?
going
True,
to be a
because that's a lot of
cardiovascular
years-
doctor,
that's
she's
a
about
lot of
halfway
years of
done.
college.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
she got it though.
Unlike me, who went to college for 7 years, she's going to college for 7 years to become a doctor.
Yeah.
You had tenure.
I had 7 years to do this. You know, so that's very
Yeah,
impressive.
so shout out to
Congratulations,
her.
Earl.
Shout out to her. That was
I
fun.
do have one question for Earl in regards to his daughter.
What's
so,
up?
Earl, you said that Yana now graduated with the highest GPA of any student athlete at Warrensville High School, which is absolutely incredible, and that includes beating out Brad Sellers. So I need you to text Yana and ask if she believes that Carmelo Anthony would solve everything. For the Cavaliers.
I'm gonna ask her. I would definitely ask her. You
That
know?
would be funny. That would be funny.
If
That's a nice
Carmelo An-
recall right there,
if
Mike.
Carmelo Anthony 101 is a required elective to graduate Warrensville High School, just taught by Brad.
That's great.
I definitely send her the text. So they out of school for the next three days.
Oh,
so
really?
Good. Yeah, they get to chill for the next couple of days. So.
Nice. Congratulations.
Senior day, she just turned 18.
Yeah.
We just got prom and graduation.
Yeah, it's all coming right around the
It's
corner.
all coming around the corner.
That's awesome. So, Ohio State in the fall. Everybody's excited. It's we're coming out of the bad weather. I think.
No.
I'm getting
It's
carried away.
February 12th.
Yeah.
What's
Well,
wrong with you?
We have 6 straight days,
I'll take
mid-40s
it.
or above, starting Saturday.
I'll take it.
So I'm going to convince myself that we're coming out of it,
Six-
even though I
it-
know we'll be back in it.
People gonna be
feels-
barbecuing out here in shorts
I know, right?
the whole nine.
It feels
The other
like,
day when it was like 48 degrees, I was out in shorts. It felt so warm. I was.
but that's why 6 straight days starting Saturday. It feels like we've already had a few 40.
No,
over
today's
40s.
cold.
Oh, I didn't even
Well, there
notice.
was 1 or 2, but like starting to 45 or warmer for 6 days in a
Y'all
row.
ever notice, like, when we first get that first 45-degree day, like September, October, it feels cold.
Yeah.
And then we get that first 45-degree day in
The
February.
blood's thicker now.
It
And
feels
it's
warm.
like it's warm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, because in the fall, you used to the hot weather. Now we've been
so-
freezing our you-know-what's off.
You get a
for the
chance to
last-
run it back, and it's like, okay, this is
Yeah,
nice.
good.
I like
Yeah,
this
yeah,
right
Trying to
now.
hold a baseball practice to get to 45, 50.
I know.
Let's go.
Yeah, that's been plenty. We've done plenty of those. All right, let's get to some sports topics, Mike. What do
We
you got
got a
for us?
lot, and we got a new game segment we're going to play later in the show. I
Good.
put this in the chat. Go on our community tab. If you're watching right now, go on our community tab on our YouTube page. I put the questions that I'm going to ask the panel at the end of today's show. You guys have a chance to answer the exact same question. See if you are smarter than the esteemed panel of Adam the Bull, Jason Lloyd, Earl the Pearl, and Spencer German, who will be joining us for the game segment later in the show.
Okay.
So make sure you go to our YouTube page, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, of course. And then on the community tab, you can find the questions we are going to ask these individuals later in the show, and you can prove you are smarter than the esteemed panel. We'll get to that later,
went
though.
to
We're going
college
to
for
start with
7
the
years.
Cavs.
I did go for 7 years. A lot of
Before the
schooling.
Cavs, though, a quick
ahead.
reminder that today's show is sponsored by our good friends at Mally's. All you need is love, guys,
All you
and
need
chocolate. This
is
Valentine's
love.
Day, be ready to say those 3 little words everyone wants to hear.
These aren't open.
I brought Mally's. From friendship to love to every situationship in between, Mally's has the perfect chocolate to say what you feel. Their famous chocolate-covered strawberries and grapes are back in stores right now, guys. And the rest of your Valentine's Day favorites like the Gold Cup assortments, foiled wrapped solid milk and dark chocolate hearts, peanut butter, caramel, raspberry, marshmallow-filled hearts, and so much more. They are in stores and online now. This Valentine's Day, say it with Mally's. They were so generous. They sent us a couple boxes of the chocolate-covered strawberries, the chocolate-covered grapes. And Earl, do us a favor in honor of
He's
your
gonna try
daughter's
one.
accomplishments. Have a chocolate-covered strawberry. Let us know how amazing these delicious, delectable little bites are.
Shout out to Mally's, man. Let's see what these hitting for right here, right now. On point. 10 out of 10. Like a stable Wi-Fi connection.
Thank you, Mally's. Everybody get your Mally's, especially with Valentine's Day Saturday, of course.
Hope my wife isn't watching because she's getting one of these over the weekend.
Good idea.
Make sure everyone goes over, get your Mally's
Yeah.
at Mally's.com.
All right.
Let's talk a little Cavaliers, guys. It was James Harden's home debut yesterday. However, it was the Sam Merrill show. Sam went nuclear. 17 points in the second quarter, a career-high 32 points in the game. He made 9 3-pointers, just shy of the Cavaliers team record. It was
What is the NBA record, by the way?
14.
By Curry?
Klay Thompson,
Klay
I
Thompson.
think.
Oh, yeah.
So he was shy of that, but still an incredible performance. Donovan Mitchell said after the game that one of the FanDuel broadcast keys to the game was to get Sam going. Sam saw that, went in the locker room and asked his teammates, hey, guys, am I playing really that bad? They're like, no, but let's get it going. He made his first 7 threes in the game, was incredible. And Jason, I know you were there last night. It was a one-man Cavalanche, and Sam Merrill stole the show on James Harden's home debut.
I mean, they scored, 136?
138, I think.
38.
Yeah.
And James didn't really do a whole lot. Took 3 or
He
4
made free
shots.
throws.
Yeah. I think he had 10
Yeah.
free throws, only took 3 or 4 shots,
Yeah.
had 6 turnovers. Like, it was just,
11 assists. I
Yeah,
think.
yeah. And Sam had one of those games like, hey, when you get in rhythm like that, the best thing you can do is keep feeding the guy. So I mean, the Wizards know their assignment. They've got their marching orders. They're one of those teams that are absolutely in full tank mode. They trade for guys and send them home this year and tell them we'll see you next year.
Disgrace.
It's pretty wild.
Did you see the Bobby Marks comments? I brought that up yesterday.
No, I don't think
about
I did.
Utah not putting their starters back in the other day.
They sent them for the fourth quarter.
I mean, it's a disgrace.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get off topic.
Go ahead.
When you with this draft class is why you've got all these teams doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
But I mean, listen, this team is showing you what they're capable of doing. Are they going to play this well in the playoffs? Well, the competition's going to be a lot higher when you get to April, May, and June. But they're showing you what they are capable of when they reach their full potential. And they don't even have Evan. And again, James really didn't even play all that well last night, at least from a scoring standpoint. Mm-hmm. He was happy to facilitate and give you one of those and give you one of those. And it was the Wizards made it a one possession game, I think, at one point, but it never felt like that game was never in doubt. The Cavs beat the brakes off them. You got out to a fast start and coasted the rest of the way. That's what you got to do against teams like this, and they got a lot of them coming up on the schedule.
Yeah, I think it's dope that the Cavs have so many guys that can just go out here, get hot, get a bucket, and it don't always have to be the main guys that's going to carry us to victory.
Yeah.
Sam Merrill was cooking with fish grease last night, especially in that first quarter, and I think it set the tone for things to come. You brought up James Harden not really, playing that great from a scoring standpoint. For him, I go back, he said, I just want to fit in and contribute. And he only shot the ball 4 times. And for him to identify early on, okay, this is the rhythm of the game. I see who's hot. Let me go ahead and be that playmaker facilitator so we can keep Sam going. Even Donovan finishing with 30. I think Donovan had like 4 fouls for the majority of the game. And for him to come out, finish with 30 points, do what he normally do. Jared Allen, 21 points, 9 rebounds, another great game from him. You just see this team right now clicking on all cylinders and playing off each other very well. You see the synergy that's clicking in, and it was a great night.
So funny because I feel like with Kobe Altman, I've been like, he's an idiot. He's done great. He's an idiot. He's done great. I feel like I've gone back and forth on this like 4 or 5 times, but you got to give him a lot of credit. I mean, again, we'll see. You don't give that much credit until we see what happens in the playoffs. But if nothing else, I give him a lot of credit for trying.
Yeah.
Because it feels like a totally different team right now, what we're seeing. I mean, between the 3 guys you've added and Jalen Tyson's emergence this season, and then Jared Allen, the way he has played off of James Harden. I mean, he's like a different. I said this, I'm a broken record here, but Jared Allen looks like a different guy right now. Like he's taking a ball to the basket from the free throw line. He's been way more aggressive and physical, it seems like, since James Harden's been here. I don't know. Maybe I'm kidding myself. I know he's had other good stretches in the past, but man, they look like a completely different team. Again, the Wizards stink. I mean, they're like a G League team now, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, we named the players that played yesterday, but you've never heard of any of them.
No. So
it's funny that you brought that up because I remember last year during the playoff time, I got the opportunity to talk to Kobe. And I told Kobe, I said, there was a lot of talk the offseason prior about you need to break up the core 4, including all of us on this panel. And I said, you got to have some type of crazy faith in what you've built to go against the grain and stand alone and saying, no, this can work. Now, you fast forward, there's been a couple times we've talked this season and you say, things ain't just going well right now, but it's okay. The adversity is going to make us better. And for him to be humble enough and, recognize that this is no longer working and to make a move, you have to commend him for that. And you talk about the development of JT, Jalen Tyson, Daquan Tomlin being another one. I think the emergence of those 2 guys in particular made it easier for Kobe Altman to make other moves around who's playing well now and who the core guys are. Yeah. And I think that they got tougher. I think they got better defensively, and I think they got better offensively. Wow, they didn't get quite up under the second apron, but you kind of saved yourself some money on the back end by doing so.
Yeah, and if they win, nobody cares about the second apron.
Right. Of course.
If they win in the next 2 years, that becomes irrelevant. But go ahead, Mike.
One of the beauties of this Cavs team, now with this Harden-Mitchell tandem, is it just puts defenses in an absolute nightmare of who are we going to let beat us, right? It's a pick-your-poison situation. And last night, Washington, and a short-handed Washington team, decided we're going to make James Harden get rid of the basketball. Like, we're going to kind of blitz him when we can. We're going to throw some weird looks off pick and roll, change our coverages up, and make other guys make shots. And that opens up opportunities like we saw last night for Sam Merrill, who shoot the absolute crap out of the basketball. Jalen Tyson didn't have his best game of the season, but he got a couple open looks. And if they're going to play, if teams are going to play James Harden like they did last night, he's going to have to learn to trust his teammates. And a performance like that from Sam Merrill in the third game they've played together certainly starts to build the foundation of trust. And there was a couple different plays, as you can see the entire montage of Sam's 9 threes go through, where they ran ATOs for James Harden in the high post area with no intention of having James Harden score. It was all James Harden, the floor is going to clear out on that side. Right. And they ran the same action. They ran 2 different plays off it. One where Merrill came around Allen for an open 3, got wide open off a curl. And then it was the first play of the game. They ran a similar setup where Merrill cleared out, and then it left Allen one-on-one in the paint. Allen scored the first bucket of the game. It's early. They haven't practiced yet. They've only gone through a few film sessions.
You're not playing a team like this in the playoffs.
Granted.
But, Mike,
it's building the foundation.
I think what's interesting, guys, we've seen the last couple of years in the playoffs that what you talked about, like forcing the ball out of James Harden's hands, teams would do that with Donovan Mitchell. Or at least they tried to. And you didn't have a second player like James Harden.
We've talked about that for years.
Yeah.
The easiest thing to do in the playoffs is to trap a guy and get the ball out of his hands. If you're going to just keep running pick and roll, the easiest thing to do is run a double at him, get the ball out of his hands. Now what are you going to do?
Yeah.
What's next? And the Cavs struggled at times over the past few years in the playoffs with that, okay, what's next? Now you would think that they have a counter to that with Harden. And again, like, it's early. I know Mike joked about the Harden honeymoon, the honeymoon Harden phase.
Yeah.
This is what it's always like when he goes to a new team, and we'll see where they're at 2 months from now. But certainly, this team has the capability, offensively, to score with any team in the NBA.
You know what I was thinking about, Jason? Because you had brought this up, I think, last week. I was upstairs clipping, and you were talking about the human aspect that came into play with the Jim Schwartz situation.
Yeah.
And it made me think about James Harden in this regard. He's 36 years old, and we've seen so many different versions of James Harden. The NBA scoring leader, the MVP, the sixth man. And I feel like that he recognizes his basketball mortality, that you're closer to the end of your basketball career than ever.
Yep.
And I think that there's an element of humility with him now. When you hear him talk about, I just want to fit in, I just want to contribute, I just want to do my part to accomplishing the overall goal. And you've seen that, in my opinion, in his first 3 games, right? Because we had this preconceived notion that, or some of us did, he's going to come in, try to take over, this is going to be the James Harden show. And last night was a perfect example of, let me sit back and be this facilitator, let me be this playmaker, and get other guys involved. And if he can just stay right there mentally on a consistent basis, then it's going to be a huge benefit to the Cavaliers. Sometimes new energy, a new scene, a new situation, it helps you. It boosts your morale. It changes your attitude towards situations and things like that.
Let's hope so. I mean, I just heard from a source in my ear that James Harden has said these exact same things everywhere he's been.
That's true.
Well,
and
that's fair.
Yeah.
To your point, I didn't think Harden would come in and take over right away, but it's working with Donovan way faster than I thought that it would. I thought that there would be some clunky moments or some where they're just not sure because they've never played together. I said you got to give them 10, 15, 20 games, maybe up until the playoffs to sort of find their rhythm. Well, and who's to say it still won't turn out that way? But for a handful of games, they've been terrific.
We talked before when they first traded for Harden about his usage rate, and his usage rate is down.
3 games, but it has been down.
Yeah, it is what it is. It's 3 games. So, we're not going to really learn anything until the playoffs, right? Like, you're going to have some moments, but it kind of makes sense. The Cavs have a lot to prove in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And James Harden's got a lot to prove in the playoffs. Maybe together, this Cavs team that's been a bust in the playoffs with Donovan Mitchell, and James Harden, who's been a bust in big moments in the playoffs, maybe together they bring, like the two of them kind of bring out the best in each other, and it doesn't matter. Like I said yesterday, we can't pretend. Let's not pretend because he's on the Cavs that James Harden doesn't have a big reputation
he's got his,
for stinking at big moments.
But
it doesn't mean he can't change that.
And it doesn't mean he hasn't had big playoff games either.
Of course.
Because he has.
But there's no player in the NBA, I don't think, that's more known for not coming through in a big spot than James Harden. Nobody.
That's true.
And we got to accept that, and we got to hope he changes that. Because he could turn that around. If he comes through this year, if the Cavs make a big run, God forbid they win the championship, well, that narrative, I shouldn't say narrative because it's true. It's based on reality. Then that changes. Then you think of James Harden differently, and you think of this Cavs team differently. But they got to do it when it matters.
To your point, Mike, correct me if I'm wrong on this. There is only one player in the history of the NBA who has scored more career points than James Harden, who did not win a championship.
Give me 1 second. I'll tell
In the
you.
regular
And
season?
I believe that guy's Karl Malone. And so when you talk about, this is like the last thing that he needs.
I just looked up his scoring list yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like one of the last things he
I'm
needs
trying to think would be up there.
on his
He's
resume.
ninth on the scoring
Yeah,
list.
It's like one of the last things he need on his resume
Yeah, just Malone, Earl, you're right.
to get it complete. And, when Jason say, I didn't expect it to be this fast, I was listening to Danny Green. He was on with our guys, Baskin and Phelps. And he was talking about James Harden's basketball IQ, and they were asking him, do you think he'll be able to fit in? And he said, man, the guys like James Harden, who got that high basketball IQ, they can fit into any situation. They can fit any style of basketball. And to see him come in just 3 games with no practices, just strictly film work, and be able to find his spots and recognize what's what, I think as we get through these next 25 to 26 games of the regular season, if they can just continue to do that, the biggest challenge comes in the playoffs. Very, very true. But it'll make us a lot more optimistic about how far the Cavs can go in the playoffs.
All of a sudden, the top of the East, the top 4 teams in the East look very strong, like much better. They're all playing well. I mean, the Pistons continue to play great.
All year.
What's that?
Detroit's been there all year.
They've been there all year, but they're continuing to play well. The Knicks are playing great right now. The Celtics, kudos to them. I mean, their best players hurt, and they're still playing great basketball.
And they got better at the trade deadline.
Yeah, what did they do? What was their big?
They swapped Simons for Nikola Vucevic to give him a little more front court depth.
Okay.
Should we go to the phones? We got a phone call from Tyvis in Columbus.
Let's do it.
Tyvis in Columbus?
I cannot believe you all sitting up there gassing up a win against the Wizards.
Are we gassing up the win?
You know what this Cavs team look like right now, the same team as last year. Everybody seems to be having good games now that James Harden is here. We'll see if this team is truly better in the playoffs. Donovan was right. It doesn't matter what they look like in the regular season. We only care about the play. I love
Tyvis is a negative Nancy.
I think Tyvis just salty Darius Garland ain't here, and he still ain't got over it yet. And so he probably
I just saw this really long text.
like,
jeez, Tyvis.
hey, bro, ain't you supposed to be on air right now?
What are you doing?
He sent the book.
The reason Earl's out
I thought he
here,
was supposed to be working today.
Yeah, the reason Earl's out here today is Tyvis had a doctor's appointment he couldn't get out of, so hopefully he's...
Well, apparently he's watching us at the doctor's office.
So shout out Tyvis. 2 things real quick, and then we can move on and get to the next topics. If teams are going to force the ball to James and Donovan's hands, especially in a playoff series, we need the role guys, the ancillary guys to make shots, right? Like that was what Isaac Okoro didn't do in his time here in the playoffs. That's what Dean Wade hasn't done yet in the playoffs. We haven't seen some of these guys get enough playoff minutes to make a determination of guys that are like playing for the Cavs now, like Tyson and Merrill. But through this season, if you look at the most effective and efficient three-point shooters on catch-and-shoot opportunities in the league, look at this list.
Yeah.
Number 5, Sam Merrill, 48.5 on catch-and-shoot threes. By the way, minimum 100 attempts. So this cycles out anyone who hasn't had real volume this year. And Jalen Tyson's tied for 6th in the league.
It's crazy.
Those 2 guys you could put in the corner.
Yeah.
Off pick and rolls with Harden and/or Mitchell.
Yeah.
That in the regular season, and I know you're going to say
it's
playoffs
meaningless
is different.
to me.
That this year, up until this point, have been as good as anyone in the league. Now they have to do it in the playoffs. And that's totally
like none of these outside of Max Strus, who hasn't played all year. None of these other guys have done anything ever in the playoffs. Like Sam Merrill, what did he do last year in the playoffs? He's got a lot to prove. Now Jalen Tyson, I'm more optimistic about him because it's not like he's done it and failed. He's never had the opportunity, so we don't know.
Nothing seems to rattle him. I'll be curious to see what his game looks like in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Because to this point, nothing's really faced him.
He was built for these kind of moments.
I mean, the guy went from 0 legit playoff minutes to starter. I know, but it's
And
pretty
think
crazy.
about this: when you said nothing rattles
Yeah.
him, the 3 games that James Harden has been here, those have not been his best games offensively. But if you check his demeanor, you check his attitude, it's like he's unfazed. He's still confident because he's getting the shots that he wants, and he's being put in position to be able to make plays. Shots just hasn't been falling the last 3 games, but the fact that he has that self-belief and that confidence and that dog in him, even that to get himself turned around. Everybody go through stretches to where the shot's just not falling. So,
all right, I got one last thing here.
All right, one last thing.
Okay, and then we'll talk about some head coach hirings. We're gonna do more Cavs later in the show.
Okay.
We got this tweet last night.
Oh,
Steve,
boy.
you want to take tag board forward? This is from my guy Sean, who tweets at me all the time.
All
and
right.
I can't see his Twitter handle. I want to make sure we get his Twitter handle. So give me 1 sec so I can properly.
I'll contribute $100 to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show if that tweet makes it on air tomorrow.
Now, that tweet he's referring to, this is Sean Ferguson, by the way.
Okay.
Sean Ferguson and I'm going to give him his it's at SeanFerg09. So he
Okay.
tweeted at me. This is the second tweet. I'm going to read the first one in a sec, but he said, I'll contribute $100 to Old Cleve Sports Show if that makes air tomorrow. Don't change it yet. Steve, I'm going to take the next tweet, and while Ant's giving the next tweet, I need 408 ready because we're going to go right to 408 to show the play.
Oh, no. What?
The next tweet.
Is this the next tweet?
Take the next tweet.
Okay.
James Harden just gave me a hard-on with that pass.
Jeez.
The hard-on he's referring to, Steve, take the play full, is
Wait,
this behind
what?
the back
Oh.
pass.
Oh,
Sean
this-
Ferg, you owe us $100, Sean.
Oh, that was pretty sweet, yeah.
show that again.
Steve, just start this over, Steve. Just keep restarting this.
That was a pretty sweet pass.
Yeah.
Like
This is absurd. Literally an absurd play.
behind the back,
That's crazy.
Yeah.
that is crazy.
So, Sean, there you go.
That's
You
a
got your
nasty
tweet
pass.
read.
I don't know if the pass warrants the end result that he ended up with, but
not?
that was a filthy pass, man.
Sports never got you excited there, Earl?
Not like that.
Not like that.
You're an emotional guy. I
Yeah.
can see you getting excited about sports.
Not like that. I've had more excitement on the final lap of the Daytona 500 with Dale Jr. leading than I had in that pass. That was a great pass.
I
by
do
the way.
wonder how many babies were conceived on Father's Day in 2016.
Oh, a lot.
After the Cavs won the
Oh, yeah.
championship.
A lot.
Was there a baby boom in Cleveland in July, August, September of
A lot
2017?
of drunk
or wait,
sex that night.
That would have been what? March, April, May, June. Yeah, look
Yeah.
at March 2017.
Yeah, a lot of.
birthdays.
Why were there so many babies in Cleveland in March? You're right.
Championship fever. That's all. That's all it was.
All right, Mike. Let's
All right,
switch
so
it up.
shout out to Sean. We appreciate Sean tweets at us all
Sean,
the time.
send that $100
Yeah,
care of Adam the Bull.
Yeah, you
UCSS.
can do the personal Venmo because I'm the one that's going to get in trouble for that.
Go ahead.
But we're going to get to the Browns tonight, though. The Charge back in action against the Toronto 905 G League team. They played on Tuesday.
Did we ever figure out why
Yes.
they're the Toronto 905?
Yes, despite Anthony's research, 905 is the primary area code of Toronto. So Anthony just
Anthony,
completely
what happened?
screwed that one up. I asked the head coach, who I
Yeah.
got a chance to meet later in the day, why are you guys 905? He said that's the primary
Yeah.
code of Toronto, obviously.
Any
Are you telling me AI lied to me?
AI lied to
What
you.
a shocker.
Google, I'm coming for you.
Any truth to the rumor that the head coach of the Toronto team and the head coach of the Charge have a big rivalry and don't like each other? That's what I'm hearing.
Possibly.
So get fired up and go see
It was a
it.
crazy game, though. The Charge were up 17 with 3 minutes left. 905 cut it to 2 with 7 seconds left. Charge held on to win by 2. Great game. They're back, running it back.
Wow.
Number 1 versus number 3 in the East. Tonight, 7 o'clock. Public call. Get your tickets
All
at
right.
clevelandcharge.com.
What's
I
up,
would
Earl?
encourage that coach to keep it in between the lines. I've heard stories about that Charge head coach. He stand on business in real life.
All right. Yeah, there's rumors circulating. All kinds of stuff. Go ahead, Mike.
All right, we're going to talk a little football, guys. The Athletic did a survey of their national writers.
Who is the most
got
athletic
nothing
writer
At the Athletic.
Me.
No.
Jason, I want to talk about that in overtime. You
Yeah.
have to survey your
Yeah,
mind and rack your brain.
We got to
on
figure
who the
that
most
out.
Athletic
Who is the most
writer
athletic
is.
writer?
But
I'm going to say Ken Rosenthal.
When we first launched,
Yeah.
LeBron and Ty used to
Oh,
give
used to
so
bust
much
your
crap
chops.
about
Oh,
that.
yeah, I
LeBron's
bet.
like, it's a dumb name. What a dumb name.
Yeah.
And Ty's like, you mean the unathletic if you worked there? It's like, I was actually quite the athlete back in my day. It was just a lot of days and pounds ago.
I'm sure they didn't bust your chops about that comment either.
So let me rephrase
Go ahead,
that.
Mike.
The unathletic.
The
ranked
unathletic.
the 10 head coaching hires.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jason. ranked the head coaching hires in the NFL. How they did it was they took their national NFL writers.
Do we know
All right,
the panel?
I had nothing to
We
do with this.
don't know the panel, and if you cover a team that hired
Yeah, so
a head
Jason
coach,
was not
I had
part of the
nothing
voting.
to do
Jason
with
did not
this.
have a vote.
Neither was Zach Jackson.
Zach Jackson up.
Nobody from Cleveland was involved.
Nobody from the
So
anyone
don't-
who covers the Giants.
So it's
These-
probably Diana Rossini was in there.
Sando Silver.
yes, those guys.
Mike Silver, the most hated man in Cleveland.
So they were asked to rank the 10 head coaching hires.
Yeah.
First place vote got 5 points. Second place got 4.
Third place got 3.
Down to 5. If you were under 5, you got 0. So when you see these rankings,
Okay.
you'll see a number next to them. That's the total amount of points they got.
Okay.
I'm going to show you the top 10. I'm going to give you their reasoning on
How many
why
coaches
they
were?
voted.
There were 10?
10. I'm going to give you the reasoning on why they put Todd Monken where they did, and then we will discuss.
All right,
According
let's
to
see
The
it.
Athletic, the best head coaching hires of this cycle start with John Harbaugh at 1, who was the landslide favorite. He had 42 points in this contest, I guess we can call it. Kevin Stefanski was voted as the second best head coaching hire with 25 points. Baltimore getting Jesse Minter, the third with 24. McCarthy going to Pittsburgh, fourth at 13. Jeff Hafley in Miami, the fifth highest rated, I guess we can call it, head coaching hire according to the Unathletic. 6 through 10 here, Steve. Clint Kubiak and Robert Saleh tied for 6. Joe Brady, who did get one first-place vote, by the way, came in at 8. And then Todd Monken and Mike LaFleur tied for last 9. No
Where's
points
Mike
either.
LaFleur coaching?
Arizona. The
Oh.
reasoning for both of these, and Steve, take the next one.
Yeah.
The reasoning for LaFleur and Monken, and I'll read this exactly from the quote-unquote Unathletic. There's just too much unknown with Monken and LaFleur in their first respective organizations. Both are first-time offensive-minded NFL head coaches coming from successful teams, but they're joining 2 franchises that are perpetually rebuilding. Without enough of a track record for the coaches and the organization's instability, it is understandable why our panel took a wait-and-see approach with this
I
hire.
understand that, but why?
If you and
If you're judging the hires, why it shouldn't have to do with the team?
well, it kind of does because it has to do with the personnel that you have the coach and what kind.
So
what
if the
fit is.
Browns had hired Harbaugh, would he?
no,
would
they
he,
wouldn't be last.
But would he not be first?
He probably would still be first. Yeah,
But then that doesn't make
here's
sense.
the part, and
Yeah.
again, these are my colleagues. I want to tread
Yeah.
carefully here, but the
Yeah.
part that I don't understand, like I agree, like there's no track record there.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Then why is Hafley third?
And Minter was third, I think. And
Minter
Hafley was
third,
fifth.
Hafley was 5th.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Okay.
Neither of those guys. Minter,
So fine, same though. Like,
Yeah.
Minter didn't have a track record either.
Right.
So why is
Minter
third?
averaged like third place votes. That was his average.
And not only that, with Jeff Hafley, if you're saying that, Monken and LaFleur is going to 2 organizations that are perceived to be unknowns because of the state of the organization, then I'm trying to understand how him landing with the Miami Dolphins puts him 5th.
I mean, 4 of the bottom 5
Right,
have
right,
never
yeah.
been have never been head coaches before, right? I was trying to count quickly as that shot
Yeah,
was up.
only Saleh has been a head coach out of the bottom 5.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I just don't. I'm a little confused on the thinking. If you want to put all the first-time guys at the bottom, okay, fine. You can say there's just not a track record to go off of. I mean, listen, these things are. This is what you do in the offseason.
It's silly. I mean, it doesn't.
Yeah.
There's no, like, what can you really point to?
But, I mean, we know the Monken hire was not viewed as, whoa, look who the Browns got.
Right,
It
but-
was, whoa,
but a lot-
look who the Browns got.
But a lot of that is based on nonsense.
Yes, I don't
And
disagree with that.
groupthink,
I don't
and
disagree.
like these are the candidates we're told are the hot candidates.
Yeah.
So they must be good hires. And then a year or two later, those guys get fired, and nobody brings up that they were the hot candidate.
Hugh Jackson was a hot candidate.
I loved the hiring of Hugh Jackson at
Yeah.
the time, and he was horrible.
Yeah, yeah. You just never know. You just
Yeah.
so yeah. This whatever. It's this is what you got to do to fill time in the off season. We're getting a head start on it.
Right.
I just don't understand the logic of there's not enough of a track record yet. The guys also don't have a track record.
Right.
Or higher up.
And I don't get why the organization would factor in. It's like I don't know. That wouldn't be a factor in my rankings of the coach hiring.
yeah, to your point, if the Browns landed Harbaugh,
Right.
they'd probably be number 1.
Right. So it doesn't make sense. So it's either should be just about the coach.
I think it's just a combination. When you have the
Yeah.
unknown of a coach and the unknown of a team that isn't very good, and you put
Right.
them together, the results more than likely, you would think, are not going to be great.
Right. Yeah. More than likely.
In terms of their other rankings, they had Stefanski 2. We know you had enough interviews and enough interest from multiple teams where it seemed like he had his choice of jobs. I know we've kind of discussed this in the past, but it still surprises me just the difference in the way we in Cleveland and a lot of fans perceive Stefanski versus the league's narrative of him. I don't know.
In the end, we don't know that he was going to get offered a job by these other teams.
I mean, he interviewed with.
Okay,
5
but
6.
I think
so did Halfley. I mean, he interviewed with a lot of teams too.
I believe he could have had the Titans job if he wanted it.
Right, but let's not
I don't know
make it seem
about-
like 8 teams are going to
I
hire
mean, they all
him.
interviewed him.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean they're all going to offer him.
Right, there were a lot of
I
people
have-
that got a lot of interviews.
I have no idea if Baltimore would have offered him or not. I have no idea. I'm fairly confident. I think Tennessee would have offered him.
If Baltimore would have offered him, wouldn't he have waited for that job?
You would think, but I don't know. Like
I mean, why would you take Atlanta if you could have Baltimore?
I'm curious, Mike. Did they state their reasoning on why they put Kevin Stefanski second?
Yeah, let me pull it up. I got you.
I mean, he's the most accomplished of the
While
rest
he's
of the.
doing
Well, I
that,
mean,
I was laughing my ass off because I'm pretty sure our chat looked at that list and said,
Yeah.
"Yeah, Jason definitely voted."
Yeah.
He definitely.
I say he's the most accomplished besides Harbaugh. Really, McCarthy is. He's won a
Yeah.
Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
A lot of people don't think highly of him, but like, I get why Stefanski's. I don't even have a problem with him being 2.
when you
don't know if a guy's going to be a good head coach until he does it. And even if he's been a coach somewhere else.
Yeah, you just only hope because out of everybody on that list, it's only like you
Yeah.
said, there's only 2 coaches on there that got Super Bowl rings,
Yeah.
right? And then the other ones are retreads that did not have success at their previous
Right.
stops, and the rest of these guys are guys that's getting their first opportunity
Yeah.
to be a coach. And I think with Todd Monken, ageism shows up a lot, right? All people want to talk about is the fact that he's 60 years old, not the fact that he has 30 years of football
Right.
experience and a lot of experience in coaching in different systems. I mean, this dude coached up under Lou Oates, for example, at Notre Dame, right? And so this is a guy who, in my opinion, if he was my age, nobody would have had an issue.
Well, but
with the
it's
hire.
not his age. It's that he's 60, and why is he? If he's such a good coach, why has nobody ever hired him? I think that's how people look at it. Not just that he's 60, because how old's Mike McCarthy? He's probably 60, isn't he?
Same age.
And we talked about it. I think once you reach a certain point, once you reach a certain age, they look at you as if you haven't gotten the job yet. What's
Right.
wrong with you?
Yeah.
You know.
Right, like Jim Schwartz had an opportunity. He's never getting another chance.
But that's why I always go back to Bruce Arians, right? Now, they didn't win the Super Bowl, but he took the Cardinals to the Super Bowl.
Right, but
And-
that's the only example of that.
But he was what, mid-50s, probably older than
might have
that
been
when he got
60,
his first ever head coaching
Right.
job, and he was another guy. Tons and tons of experience on the offensive side of the ball, and I'm pretty sure when he got the hire, people was like, man, who is this old dude? And if he ain't never been a head coach before, why is it going to work now? And you just seen all of that play itself out to where it's funny that the Cardinals is ranked at the bottom towards the Browns, but the peak of the Cardinals organization is when Bruce Arians was their head coach.
Right, but in the end, that's the one example. It's really the only example of that. And so people are going to tend to lean towards examples that are more likely to happen. And to say Todd Monken's a bad hire, I mean, like, to say anybody's a bad hire is stupid. You don't know that.
don't know.
We all make our opinions. It's the same thing with the draft. They had a good draft. They had a bad, you don't know. Guys haven't played a game yet.
Right.
These guys haven't coached a game with their new teams. As good a coach as Harbaugh has been, you could argue he's been one of the most disappointing coaches over the last few years.
Oh, for sure. And if you put Harbaugh and I didn't realize this.
Yeah.
I meant to check this. You never know on Twitter
Yeah,
what's
yeah,
real
right,
and what's
right,
not.
yeah.
But there was Harbaugh and McCarthy's resumes. They're
Yeah.
almost identical.
They are. No, that's very real.
Right,
I saw-
and
I
yet
saw the
people
same
love
thing.
Harbaugh and they hate
And they
McCarthy.
crap on McCarthy. And I'm one of them.
Yeah.
I'm one of them. It's like Mike McCarthy.
McCarthy, yeah,
And then
right.
you look at the resume, it's like, holy crap, it's
Yeah.
the same thing.
Like,
so,
Mike McCarthy.
Right.
Mike McCarthy.
yeah, yeah. In terms of Kevin, though, do you have that, Mike?
I do. Yeah, you want me to read it real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
So Kevin got one of the 10 first place votes, and this is
Was
it's a
not
little
me.
longer than the Monken one.
It's not
but
me.
Yeah.
This is, and Jason did not vote on this. This is the write-up for Kevin Stefanski from The Athletic. Quote, Stefanski was the first coach since Marty Schottenheimer to bring Cleveland to the playoffs more than once. Simply put, the two-time coach of the year, one for an organization that has never done so with consistency. What if the Browns never saddled Stefanski with Deshaun Watson's contract? That question has been prevalent while attempting to project Stefanski's true potential as a head coach. Quote, Stefanski and Matt Ryan's relationship will have stability for an organization that has lacked it, a former coach said. He has already shown he can win with less, just needs to fix the quarterback situation, end quote. While Stefanski is no longer in Cleveland, he must still navigate the unknown. Falcons owner Arthur Blank revamped his power structure after an organizational audit, so they're off to a good start. Still, Ryan lacks experience, and it's unclear how the new structure will flow with all the new pieces, including Ian Cunningham as the general manager. The Falcons are expected to release Kirk Cousins, and 2024 first-rounder Michael Penix Jr. just suffered a third torn ACL. It's rare to inherit a turnkey situation at quarterback, but Stefanski has to figure it out again. Quote, he's a really good coach, an executive said. He's a really good person. I like their staff. There's something different about that organization, about the upper management and the way it all mixes. There might be too many cooks in the kitchen to enact their process. Stefanski appeared on 8 of the 10 ballots and received 1 second-place vote, 4 third-place votes, and 2 fourth-place votes, along with the 1 first-place vote.
Now, it's really interesting what you said about the quarterback. You have to fix the quarterback.
Yeah, well, he couldn't do it here.
No, I'm done.
Yeah.
Like, I excused him when he was here.
Yeah.
And said when he's had a quarterback, he's won.
Yeah.
Well, he chose this job.
Yeah.
So I don't want to hear about the quarterback.
Yeah,
in this
and
instance,
they got a
because
bad quarterback situation too?
I believe he would have had his choice of multiple job offers. I know, like I said, I'm confident Tennessee probably would have offered him. I don't know about anyone else. He chose relatively early in the process to take that job, so it's on you now. Like, I'm done defending him with quarterbacks and all that other stuff.
Right.
That's the job he chose. You better win.
To that point, he took that job with that quarterback room. They don't have a first-round pick this year, and their cap situation is worse than the Cleveland Browns. And it's funny because
they got a lot more talent on offense.
Offense. You know, when you talk about issues that a head coach has to deal with, he's already walking into a situation kind of similar to some things that he had to deal with here. I'm pretty sure everybody heard the news about James Pierce Jr. by now. Right? So a first-time head coach in a new situation, and already you're hit with adversity. And so we'll see how he responds to that. I mean, for me, I'm like everybody else. I'm more focused on, I got my eyes on our own paper, trying to see what our head coach can do to improve the talent that's on his team already, and see what our general manager can do to put more talent around it.
I do think it's funny that in that thing it says the Browns had never, since Schottenheimer, hadn't won with any consistency. Well, Kevin Stefanski didn't win with any consistency. He had 2 winning seasons, which is better than the dregs of other
it was
coaches.
up, down, up, down, up,
Yeah,
down.
there was no consistency.
Yeah.
So that's, I don't know. Anyway, I wish him the best of luck in Atlanta. I'll be rooting for him against Baker Mayfield. I'd rather the Falcons win than the Buccaneers.
I would be rooting for Tampa in those.
How many
Tampa?
Yeah.
How many? Because there's a lot of people in Cleveland,
Yeah.
especially that first year or so, that kept an eye on Carolina and how Baker was doing. How many people in Cleveland do you think will be watching Atlanta?
Oh,
A lot.
Do you? Because I go back and forth on that. Like, it's the head coach; it's not
I
the
think
same
it's
as
a
a
lot.
player.
yeah, that's different.
But
I think they want to see, and this is just my 2 cents, and maybe I'm too deep in the Twitter sphere.
Yeah,
I think they want to see if a Stefanski offense looks different than what it did here, and whether or not. And I know Penix may or may not be good. They have their own quarterback issues over in Atlanta. If a Stefanski offense looks different and looks more explosive, which it should with Bijan Robinson, Drake London, Kyle Pitts, and the weapons they have, or if it was hamstrung here because of the lack of trust in the said quarterback. I think that's what they're looking more forward to than how he does.
I mean, there's no doubt it's part of both. I mean, certainly Kevin Stefanski deserves some blame, but obviously the Browns have no talent on offense outside of, I mean, very few guys.
Yeah.
We know this. And yet we kept the GM. So here we go. All right, Mike.
All right, let's play our own version of GM in this next topic. It's brought to us by Mally's. Valentine's Day is right around the corner, guys. All you need is love and chocolate this Valentine's Day. Be ready to say the 3 little words everyone wants to hear. I brought Mally's. From friendship to love to every situationship in between. Mally's has the perfect chocolate to say what you feel. Their famous chocolate-covered strawberries and grapes are back in stores February 13th and 14th, and the rest of their Valentine's Day favorites, like the Gold Cup assortments, the foiled wrapped solid milk and dark chocolate hearts, peanut butter, caramel, raspberry-filled hearts, and so much more. They're all in stores and online. Now, this Valentine's Day, say it with Mally's. All right, guys, we're putting on our GM hats. We know Andrew Berry's been aggressive in acquiring wide receiver talent during his tenure as the Browns general manager.
He's been aggressive acquiring wide receivers, not talented wide receivers.
Receivers he believes are talented, whether that's panned out or not. But you look at the Amari Cooper trade, Jerry Jeudy, Elijah Moore. There's a handful. ESPN put out an article earlier this week with the landscape for the upcoming free agents at that position, similar to how Zach Jackson walked us through the quarterback landscape. I'm going to walk you through ESPN's version of the receiver landscape.
Okay.
And you guys are all going to tell me, of these guys, who do you think is realistic? Who would you most want the Browns to sign? And how they can go about acquiring said players. So according to ESPN, the free agent options at the wide receiver position, Romeo Doubs, Mike Evans, Juwan Jennings, Alec Pierce, even though all indications appear he's going to return to Indianapolis, Wan'Dale Robinson of the Giants, Deebo Samuel, and Rashid Shaheed, the Super Bowl champion.
That's a terrible list.
As the top
I mean,
receiver
come on.
options.
My guy's not even on that
right.
list.
Mine's either.
The best player is Mike Evans,
Yes.
who is obviously not coming here.
Yeah.
If he leaves Tampa, he's going to go to a team with a quarterback.
And a team with ready to win.
Right. Romeo Doubs is, he's a nice slot guy. The rest of those guys are just guys. Wan'Dale Robinson had a nice season, but he's, the rest of those guys are third wide receivers or worse. And even Doubs is a third wide receiver.
I mean, there's a reason.
And I like Doubs. I think he could fit. If the Browns draft an outside receiver, you could put Doubs as your slot guy.
How often do you see a 25-year-old playmaking receiver
No,
in
you
free
don't.
agency? You don't. So you're
Right.
always choosing from
Right.
lists that
I
look
think
like this.
their target should be in trades.
Well, that's great you mentioned
Right.
that because the trade candidates are the next part of the landscape, and then we have cut candidates. So let me get
Yeah.
the trades and the cuts, and then we can discuss our favorites. But the
Okay.
trade candidates, A.J. Brown, Keon Coleman, Quentin Johnston from the Chargers, Xavier Legette, DJ Moore, Brian Thomas Jr., or even Jalen Waddle if Miami goes into a full rebuild. And, Steve, let's see the cut candidates. The final list here, just a few guys to keep an eye on. Brandon Ayuk, Tyreek Hill, and Calvin Ridley. So, Bull, I asked you guys to scour all three of these. We'll go around the horn.
Yeah.
Of these options,
Well,
Who's your
I didn't
favorite
know we
and
were
who's most
considering.
realistic?
I had said Romeo Doubs when you originally asked me about this, but I maybe didn't realize the trade guys because
So,
my choice would be Thomas from Jacksonville.
Brian Thomas Jr.?
Yeah.
Why Brian Thomas Jr.? Give us the Dobbs and the Brian Thomas Jr.
Well, I mean, I think the most realistic option is Dobbs because I don't think Jacksonville's going to trade Brian Thomas Jr.
I don't either.
But I'd give at least a possibility that Jacksonville would trade Brian Thomas Jr. And so I could see that. He'd be my first choice. Dobbs would be my second choice. But, I know G and Tyvis love this Mekhi Lemon. Now the free agency comes first. If you're going to draft Mekhi Lemon, you're not going to sign Romeo Doubs because they're both slot guys. But if you draft Tate or Tyson, then you could sign Dobbs. I know, again, you'd have to make that decision where you're going beforehand without knowing for sure you get that guy. But so Dobbs is a free agency. Thomas, though, would be I would try to get him. Again, I think Jacksonville would be stupid to trade him. It doesn't make sense that they would trade him, but at least I'll say there's a 10% chance. The rest of those guys are either, third receivers or worse, or they're guys who there's no way they're. A.J. Brown's not getting traded to the Browns.
No.
He don't want to play here. Mike Evans is not coming to the Browns. If the Dolphins were going to trade Jalen Waddle, there'd be a team that would give. The Browns are not a wide receiver away from being a contender.
But it depends on what you're looking for.
Yeah.
If you're not going to find a number one elite receiver in the prime of his career
Right.
in free agency. You just have to look at the list for what it
Yeah.
is. And the guy I chose, I originally had Dobbs and you had already taken him.
Yeah.
I took Tyquan Thornton from the Chiefs because he at least flashed.
I like that pick.
And he's got size, he's got speed, 6'2", he's fast, he can stretch the field.
And what
And
has he done?
He had moments with the Chiefs. He had Patrick Mahomes throwing to him, but he had moments with the Chiefs last year
That's a good graphic.
I mean, but
when
what is
Rashee
he?
Rice
He's
was out. But you're at least betting on upside. The guy's 25.
Yeah.
He's young. And is he going to come in and be your number one receiver? No. But you're not trying to find. You got to find that in the draft.
I'm trying to build up the room.
It's going to be hard to find that in the draft.
I'm not.
The Browns already got a bunch of fourth and fifth receivers, which is
But-
what I think he is.
But that's what free agency is. That's
well,
what
then you
you're
don't
gonna
have
find in
to.
free
I mean, you don't
agency.
have to do.
Well, the assignment was pick one of these guys, so I picked one of those
I
guys.
think if the Browns don't have a number one wide receiver, they're hoping to get that in the draft. I don't know that they're going to be able to. We'll see. Like, otherwise, you got to trade for it, or you get it another year. I mean, you can't get a number one wide receiver in free agency.
No, you're never going to find that. So you have. I mean, we talked about it before. To me, usually free agency is to cover the mistakes you make in the draft, and it's a stopgap measure until you can fix it in the draft. Well, they've already said in there, and I agree with this. They're right. You're not going to go out and sign a bunch of 30-something guys in free agency.
This doesn't make any sense.
This is a team that is young. They need to continue to add young pieces. I would look at Keon Coleman. I know. But if you can get him on the cheap, I think he's got 2 years left on his rookie deal.
Yeah.
The problem with Coleman for me is if you can't make it work with Josh Allen,
right?
How are you going to make it work here?
Yeah.
So, but I do think that there was at least some upside there to look at. But again, you're not looking for stars. You're not going to get stars. You're looking for guys who can come in and fill a role. Guys who are young, relatively inexpensive with upside. That's what I'm looking for this team in particular.
There's really the only number one wide receiver on any of those lists is A.J. Brown. Right? I don't even know if Brian Thomas Jr. is the number one wide receiver.
Mike Evans, probably
Mike
two
Evans.
passes.
And Mike Evans, I don't know if he's still a number one wide receiver, but there's zero chance that Mike Evans or A.J. Brown are coming to the Browns. So so they have no chance of getting a number one wide receiver. We don't know if Tate and Tyson are number one receivers. You hope they are if you draft them. They better be if you draft them at 6. But we don't know that yet. But that's what they're going to have to do.
Real quick before I go, I just want to respond to what you said about Keon Coleman. I think with him, just my opinion, I just think it's a matter of he needs to mature. He needs to take his NFL career more serious than what he does. Like I read stories this past season about him either, waking up late or not being on time, falling asleep in meetings, just things like that. And sometimes, man, when you're young and you come into the league with status and a name for yourself, now you got a little bit of money and a little bit of reputation, it's harder for some people than others to keep the main thing the main thing. And if Keon can keep the main thing, he's a talented wide receiver. I like your pick. I went with Quentin Johnston, the wide receiver from the LA Chargers, and here's why. I am infatuated with big body, physical wide receivers that can stretch the field.
And they don't
with
have
speed.
any of those.
And we don't have any of those. Now, you look last year, almost half of his career touchdowns came in what arguably was the best season of his career. When you talk about Todd Monken's system and what he likes to do, you're going to see a lot of 21 personnel. That means 3 wide receiver sets, 2 running backs in the backfield. Jason, you talked about this. We all know that Todd Monken likes to stretch the football field. And so if you can get you a big physical wide receiver that got some speed, that can go downfield, I think that'd be your guy. And I think he'd be a prime trade candidate. The Browns got somewhere like 10 or 11 picks. Now, we got 4 picks in the top 100. But on the back end, we got 2 5th-round picks. We got 2 6th-round picks and a 7th-round pick. We've seen the history of the NFL that wide receivers that fall in his category, they typically go for a package that includes maybe a 4, a couple 5s and a 6 and things like that. So I think you can get a guy who's young, who got some upside, who peaked last year, having his best year of his career. You can make a trade for him, and I think it does something to improve that wide receiver room immediately as well.
I just want to look up how old he is. Oh, he's only
He's
24.
young. He's played,
25.
The last 2 years, he's basically had the same season. He had 711 yards in 24, 735 this year, 8 touchdowns both years. He's a nice player. I'd be fine with that. I don't know. Why would they trade him, though?
Well, that's the thing. You don't know why they would.
They're not happy with him in L.A.
But I know
they used the first-round pick on him.
Yeah, they did. He came out of what?
worthy of a first-round
Didn't he
pick.
come out of TCU?
Yeah, that was pre-Harbaugh, though. That was the
Yeah.
apparently Harbaugh does not like this. Just reading reports, but
Yeah.
Harbaugh not a fan of how he blocks on the outside. Doesn't believe he's a physical enough receiver for their run
Yeah.
game, and he's got issues with drops.
Yeah,
But
he's fine.
To Earl's point,
the Browns need a receiver with the drop problems. The Browns can't bring
to
in.
Earl's point, though, he's
Yeah.
betting on upside. Clearly got upside.
Yeah,
They're all going to have a flaw.
You know, what you said about Keon Coleman, the Browns got to stop. The Browns are not the team that fixes people.
I was thinking that,
I can't take some guy. A guy who's already immature. You're going to bring him on this team?
And that's why I said,
I can't have Keon Coleman. I'm fine with Quentin Johnson.
If I'm an NFL team, I would
Yeah.
like to take a flyer on Keon Coleman, but not this team.
No.
I would be able to give it a little bit more of a chance simply because this is not the Cleveland Browns with Kevin Stefanski as a head coach. I know somebody who played personally for Todd Monken, and everything I've heard about Todd Monken is he's a straight shooter. He commands a room. He will hold you accountable. And I think there's something to be said about when you walk in a room and a guy's aura You can just tell that it demands this respect. Sometimes like a change of scenery and somebody like that can help you get to that next level. And so I'm willing to be more open to giving it a chance because it's not the same structure through and through when it comes to the on-field stuff.
I mean, the Bills had a pretty good situation there.
Yeah.
With the best quarterback and one of the best quarterbacks in football. And I don't know.
One thing with Todd Monken throughout his career, whether it was with the Bucks and Jameis, whether he was with here when he was in 2019 with Baker and OBJ and Landry, whether it was in Baltimore, whether it was at Southern Miss.
Yeah.
Part of a staple of his offense is a vertical passing game. When he was at Southern Miss, they led the country his final year there in pass plays over 20 yards. They've always been an explosive offense. I understand a lot of that is with the playmakers you have around you.
He's going to coach to the players he has. I don't know that he has a specific style, Mike.
Everywhere he's gone.
Yeah.
I mean, Jameis led the league in passing the one year he was there. Like part of it is he likes to push the ball downfield. He's even talked about that at some of the clips we've seen when he was with Baltimore. When you look
but
back at these
they
lists,
still ran the ball at a higher percentage of clip than any other team in 2024.
I'm not saying it's just an air raid. I'm just saying he's always had an explosive passing offense. And a lot
I
of
mean,
that is
everybody
playing
wants a receiver that can go downfield.
I'm saying out of the possible options here, Bull,
Yeah.
just if you let me finish the sentence.
He's giving you the elements to Todd Monken's offense right now.
Talking out your ass, but go ahead.
347, Steve. Out of the options here of these guys, are any of them perennial deep threats that you think fit into that kind of offense better than others? Dobbs is more of a slot
Rashid
guy.
Shaheed is a deep threat, but I don't think he's really a starting player.
Jason, Earl?
I would say Shaheed is the only deep threat, in that list. Maybe Romeo Dobbs. Maybe Romeo Dobbs as well. But like when it comes down to the trade candidates, I think Quentin Johnston is a deep threat. I think Jason's guy Thornton, he's a deep threat.
And he returns kicks.
So there's some deep threats there. Maybe not via free agency, but Mike is right. When you start digging into Todd Monken's system and the key components or elements into what makes his system thrive, you do need a vertical threat at wide receiver. And so, I'm not trying to find the next big thing as far as trade and free agency. I don't think that's not how it typically goes. You typically draft those dudes, but you have to build out the entirety of that position group. And if you can add guys that fit what he likes to do, I think it complements the other players and it makes the group better as a whole.
Well, I mean, they got room. You could cut every wide receiver besides Jerry Jeudy, and I wouldn't care.
Would you care if they cut Jerry Jeudy?
No, I wouldn't. Honestly, I wouldn't. But I think he's, he should be better.
Yes.
He should be better.
Yes.
But the rest of those guys.
He's an NFL wide receiver.
Yeah, the rest of those guys, we don't know. I guess I'd keep Isaiah Bond around. He made a couple of plays, but he's a fourth, fifth receiver.
He made
Cedric
two
Tillman's
plays,
useless.
3
Every
plays.
other receiver they have is useless. So you got spots to fill. Mm-hmm. You think Cedric Tillman's going to be here next year?
He's going into what, year 4?
I think this is year 4 he's going to.
Yeah, he was drafted in 23.
Can't stay healthy, doesn't do much.
Well, they can't turn over everyone.
No, that's true.
So I would say, Bond will be back. He's on guaranteed deal.
Right.
Bond will be here. Judy will be here.
That's it. Maybe Tillman.
I think Tillman will be here.
I don't know
last
what Tillman's
year.
contract is.
He's a second-round pick at wide receiver last year of his contract. I think it's team-friendly.
No, third-round pick, wasn't he?
Was he a second or third-round pick? Third-round pick.
Tillman was third.
Third-round pick.
When did they finally move off of David Bell had health issues.
Yeah.
But who was the other one?
Schwartz. That was quick.
Anthony Schwartz. I think year 3 they moved off him.
I don't know. It depends. It depends what they add, but I don't think it's a short thing that Cedric Tillman's on this team next year.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
So how many new receivers? Let's play the game right now.
What's that?
If has the over-under on new receivers via draft free agency, the line is 3.
Can you put a half in there?
Fine, 2.5.
2.5, I'm taking the over.
Taking the over.
3.5.
3.5, I'm taking an under. 2.5, honestly.
I'd probably 3 new receivers.
Even
I
Isaiah
could go with
Bond's not a
3.
guarantee. I know it's guaranteed money, but it's
Maybe 2. 3
little
feels
money.
like a lot. 3 feels like a lot of new receivers.
It do.
Yeah, they'll probably keep Bond, and they'll. But
Bond,
I could
Judy.
definitely see them moving on
Who
from
are we
Tillman.
missing? Bond, Judy,
Jamari
Tillman.
Thrash,
Oh God.
Malachi Corley.
I mean, he's great on end arounds.
Who else? Who is one of the guys we're forgetting, right?
I mean, the leading receivers
Gage
last year.
Larvidan.
Yeah, Gage.
So if I had to just take a stab at it very early, way too early, UCSS Browns wide receiver room.
Yeah.
I'm probably Jerry Jeudy will be here, Isaiah Bond to be here. I think Cedric Tillman to be here. I think the Cleveland Browns will add a wide receiver via trade, and I think they'll add 2 wide receivers via the draft.
They'll definitely draft one.
Yeah.
Definitely add one in free agency / trade. You would think.
Isaiah Bond was 3rd in receiving yards.
Well, he's got to be back. He's 3rd lead receiver.
It's sad. The other receivers that technically played last year for the Browns, Jeudy had 602 yards, Bond had 338, Tillman had 270, Thrash had 107, Malachi Corley had 79, and Gage Larvidan had 71.
Yeah, I keep Bond and Jeudy, and I'd get rid of everybody else. And I'd bring in 3 or 4 new guys, depending on.
Can't argue with that.
On how many, I draft 2. I'm with you. I draft 2 wide receivers, and then I get at least one guy.
I can also
free
get your
agency
thought
trade.
process too, because with Isaiah Bond, and we know like the air raid system that Todd Monken wants to run.
Yeah.
There's at least a package for him.
Right, like
And
you
so
keep
we
him
can
as your
deal with
4th,
that.
5th receiver. Judy's your 2. And you hope to get a 1, and then you get a 3 in free agency. Romeo Dobbs. Like if their wide receiving core next year is Jalen Tyson, not Jalen Tyson. What's his name?
Jordan
Tyson.
Shout out to Mr. Tyson, by the way.
Jerry Jeudy, Romeo Dobbs, Isaiah Bond, and then some veteran guy who could also return kicks. Be a big upgrade. At least on paper.
Yeah, I think as we sit here and we keep having this conversation, I just keep going back to what I've learned about his system. And if he always likes to have 3 wide receivers on the field, then I don't think us saying 3 as far as adding to that room, that wouldn't be that big of an overhaul because he's going to assess what's here. And you got to be able to spell guys as well, right? Guys get hurt, guys get tired. So 3 new wide receivers isn't as far-fetched as it might seem on the surface.
Do we know that he likes the 3 receiver sets? I feel like Baltimore ran a ton of heavy.
I mean, I think that comes to the adaptability of him being able to see the situation in game to game. But the base of his system, I've always heard with the 21 personnel is 3 wide receiver sets, and you get 2 running backs in the backfield.
Yeah.
And what that does is it allows the quarterback to go to the line of scrimmage, see what the defense is disguising, and it makes it easier to audible into a successful run or pass play.
I think if Shedeur Sanders is the starter, though, they're not going to do that as much because he's an inexperienced quarterback. Like Lamar, when he took over in Baltimore, Lamar was already a lot more experienced by the time he got there. Not that, I mean, obviously he was still young, but I don't know. I don't know you on this team and with the offensive line they have, obviously they're going to try to make it better, but it's going to be hard to make it significantly better. I would think that they're going to, I don't know, maybe go 2 tight ends more up,
I just
see.
don't.
Time will tell. It depends what personnel he has.
I'd be curious to see if they replace Njoku. Like if they really replace Njoku.
Yeah. Right.
That'll tell you a lot, as far as how they go about replacing him. Like, do you do it in free agency or do you do it hypothetically with a 5th round pick?
Well, Harold Fannon's their tight end 1.
Yeah.
So do you get a tight end 2 who's a legitimate, at least somewhat of a threat?
I mean, Isaiah Likely is very familiar. They brought over that whole Baltimore staff, including the tight ends coach and the pass game coordinator.
He hasn't actually done much. He's been talked about a lot.
I know.
But he hasn't actually done much. He was hurt for most of the season. There was a lot of hype around him, but there's been very little production.
He's got 15 touchdowns in 4 years. He had two good years back-to-back as a second tight end because he was behind Mark Andrews.
Right. What were his numbers those years?
In 2023, he had 30 catches, 411 yards, 5 touchdowns.
Yeah.
In 2024, he had 42 catches, 477 yards, and 6 touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, it's the nice touchdown numbers.
But he's the second tight end.
Yeah, but Mike, if he were that good, they would have played him more.
I'm agreeing. I'm just saying it's not like he's going to have Travis Kelce-esque numbers in a passing offense.
No, but when the Patriots had Gronkowski and Hernandez, they both got a ton of targets because they were both great. So likely, he's a backup. I don't know that he's a starter, but they don't need a starter.
Hernandez only had 1 year where I just looked it up.
Go ahead.
As a rookie, he only played 3 years.
Yeah.
45 catches, 560 yards, 6 touchdowns. Then his second year is when he broke out, 79 receptions, 910 yards, 7 touchdowns. And his third year, just 51 catches, 483 yards, 5 touchdowns.
And then what happened after that? That's when he went to jail?
Yeah. I was going to make a joke.
All right. I mean,
Yeah,
I was going to leave it up.
that's better than Likely's first 3 years.
Leave it alone. He got a
But
daughter
the
out here
last
somewhere.
2 of those are pretty similar.
All right.
I mean, I think he's a
You're
quality.
a Likely apologist.
He's a quality number 2 tight end, and I don't think that. I mean,
Yeah,
he was on the
I
same
agree.
team with Mark Andrews, so
Yeah.
exactly. When Mark Andrews got hurt, he was able to step in, and their production didn't fall off that much because he showed in that system and through development that I can come out here and give you something when I need to.
I'm fine with him being the second tight end. That's tight end, though, to me is a low priority in terms of spending money for the Browns.
Yeah.
But we'll see. All right, Mike.
All right, let's get to our next topic, guys. A quick reminder, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We're trying to get to 100,000 subscribers in 2026. We are pretty close. We're at just under 83,000, so about 17,000 more to go. We're going to hit that at some point, but hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, help accelerate that process for us so we can make UCSS as big a show as humanly possible. Also, make sure you follow us on social media, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok for more content. Earl, you and I were talking the other day, and I saved this topic because I knew you were coming on, that the Sam Darnold redemption arc and giving him enough time to reinvigorate, frankly, his career, revitalize his career is even probably more accurate after some rough stops in New York and then Carolina. Then he went to San Francisco as a backup, had the good year in Minnesota, and then obviously won the Super Bowl in Seattle. I heard this morning he's the first quarterback to ever win the Super Bowl with his fifth team. No quarterback had ever been on 5 teams, won that Super Bowl with his 5th team. So how do you think, Earl, the Sam Darnold redemption arc will impact how NFL teams view and evaluate young quarterbacks in terms of giving them more time to develop, being more patient with them, or do you not think it will actually have a impact, just a one-off, unique kind of situation?
I think it'll have an impact. How much of an impact, I'm not sure. I think there's so many different elements and so many different ways to answer this question. When you consider the state of where sports is now, as far as like everything seems to be money driven, money driven. And because of that, because of marketing, because of social media and things like that, I think that there's this pressure to always play the next best thing and not give what you have in-house the opportunity to develop. And I know everything is not the same as it was when I was a teenager watching football. But, man, I remember the days where a quarterback was drafted and you didn't see him play for probably 2 years. They sat behind a veteran. They learned some things. And even when they got in there and they got the opportunity, it didn't always look the greatest. But they had the opportunity to develop their career and turn into a quality quarterback. And I just think as times has changed, as society has changed, there's so many different factors that come into why teams do what they do. And not every factor has to do with winning games on the football field. Some things can be PR. How many tickets can I sell? How many jerseys can I sell? Things like that. And I think those reasons play a factor in why teams move on from certain quarterbacks sooner than what they probably should. We've seen that in Cleveland on a few different times, right? I can think about when Brian Hoyer was the starting quarterback. And this whole Money Manziel mania, I think it forced the Browns to, put themselves in a situation that, quite honestly, they shouldn't have done so. They should have just stuck with Brian and seen what happened from there. I think that we need to learn how to be a little bit more patient and let guys develop and see what they truly have. Every quarterback in every situation is not going to be like Sam Darnold's, right? Like a guy like Deshaun Kaiser or Cody Kessler that's been here in the past, you can identify right away, man, they just ain't got it. Some guys, they show flashes, they peak in certain things and say, okay, maybe it's something there if they find themselves in the right system, find themselves in a situation to where they're being developed properly, and of course have a little bit of luck. You look at Sam Darnold, and the last 2 years has been night and day from how his career started. I remember all the hype about Sam Darnold when he was coming out of school. He gets drafted high, but he goes to an organization like the New York Jets that's a lot like the Cleveland Browns. Like, it's not always been the healthiest, most structured situation. The quarterback rooms in those places are not the greatest environment for a young quarterback to thrive. And it's easier to put a quarterback behind the 8 ball in those type of situations versus putting them in a situation to where they can succeed. And I think with him in particular, he's used those failures from the early parts of his career and learned from them while finding himself in a position to where, okay, this team fits what I like to do. This team fits my style. And this team have quarterback coaches and offensive coordinators that can develop me, help me in areas where I'm weak. And so I think it's a lot that goes into how do you find the next Sam Darnold.
So do you think teams are going to change the way they do it?
No.
No.
Okay.
After all that?
Yeah.
No.
I don't.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
I mean, it took 7 years for Darnold to have a good season.
Nobody, when he left the Jets, nobody was saying, they've given up too soon.
Yeah.
Nobody was saying that.
I mean, so J.J. McCarthy
yeah.
is 2 years, well, really he had played 1 year, right?
He
2
barely
years in the
played.
league.
Yeah.
Do you think the Vikings are sitting around going, well, if we hold on for 5 more years,
No.
J.J. McCarthy's going to be
No.
good? Or something? No. You'll have 2 coaches and GMs fired in 7 years. If
Yeah.
if we're using Sam as the example, it took 7 years. His fourth team, third team,
Fifth.
to
No,
figure.
he was good in Minnesota. His fourth team in Minnesota, he was good. And then
Right,
obviously-
fourth
Yeah,
team in
now-
Minnesota.
yeah. I'm
not
counting
fifth.
Minnesota.
Yeah, right.
Is when he really started figuring it out.
Yeah.
You will have 2, literally, like this average length of a GM or coach is like 3 to 4 years. So you could have 2 coaches fired in that.
Right, yeah.
No team is waiting on it. Now, there are teams trying to find the next Sam Darnold
Sure.
who have been cast off
Yeah.
to be that reclamation project. But too many times we get wrapped up in the anomaly
That's right.
and not the norm.
Yeah.
And the norm is by the time you're onto your 4th team in 6 or 7 years in the league, you are who you are.
Yeah.
And if you happen to scratch a lottery ticket like Darnold and it pays off, good on you, although the Vikings tore the ticket up and threw it away after scratching it.
Yeah.
They didn't really cash it.
It's just like, Jay is often be like, why can't we get our Brock Purdy? Like, they're the exception. You
That's
can't
right.
bet on the exception.
That's right. Like everybody said, well, look at the Pistons. The Pistons won and like, well, okay.
Right, the one team that won without a superstar, right?
It's like, man, that's Isaiah. Oh, well, I thought you were talking about the
Yeah,
bad boy
yeah.
Pistons with the
No,
small
right,
backcourt, and it's like,
The
well, that's Joe
exception
Dumars.
is not what you bet on. And I know there's been a lot of comparisons, but first of all, people have compared Baker to Sam Darnold. That's not true. Baker was
Baker had
really good
success
as a
early on,
rookie.
yeah.
He had some level of success. He was inconsistent. He's continued to be inconsistent in Tampa. Better in Tampa, but still there's been inconsistency, right? Geno Smith, you want to argue for him? Geno, even at his best, was okay.
Yeah.
He was okay. You weren't winning a Super Bowl with Geno.
He at his best, he's probably an average to slightly above average NFL quarterback.
At best. I don't even
Yeah.
know if I agree with slightly above. I'll give you average.
I mean,
but-
to me, 13th, 14th is
okay.
above.
Yeah, I don't even know if he's that high, but at
Yeah.
best he's that
Yeah.
high, right? And like now people say Daniel Jones had one good season with the Giants. Like there's not a lot of Sam Darnold for 3 years. Now, like you said, the Jets are the Browns. I mean, they're very similar.
As are the Panthers. So he went to 2 pretty bad
Right,
spots
like
back
horrible organizations.
Yeah.
And in Carolina, he was hard. I mean, he was
Yeah.
really terrible in Carolina. And he looked lost. And he talked about, there was the talk about he was seeing ghosts and all this stuff. There was every reason to believe he was not going to pan out.
Yes.
Nobody's knocking on Josh Rosen's door right now. We can go through the laundry list of even first-round picks who were busts,
Yeah.
who didn't. This is a great story. But if you now think that now Mac Jones is going to be great, or Kenny Pickett's going to be great,
Deshaun Watson.
No, that's not a good comparison either.
I'll just listing quarterbacks who have had a chance and have now.
No, but like Deshaun Watson was great. That wouldn't be the same as Darnold.
I see what you're saying. Got you.
Mac Jones and Kenny Pickett were guys who were high draft picks. They stunk
Mac had a little bit of success early on.
a little.
His rookie year,
He was
a
okay.
lot of people thought, oh my God, the Patriots just did it again. They got the quarterback for the
I
next
don't know,
15
but
years.
I
I mean, his rookie year, he threw 22 touchdowns to just 13 interceptions and almost 4,000 yards.
Yeah.
110 games.
I think
not
to
bad.
Jason's point, like, there's no team that's going to wait around 7 years
nobody's doing
to
that.
figure out if you could play.
No.
I mean, look at Alex Smith, right? Alex Smith really didn't get good until he got to Kansas City.
Yeah.
And it was just like, man, I remember when he was the first quarterback taken. Where the
Yeah.
hell was this?
Right.
The entire
It
time
happens
he was in
once
San
in a while,
Francisco.
but it's the rarity.
It happens.
Yeah.
So, it's hard. These things are a case-by-case scenario. It's not that every single quarterback who failed in a previous stop is going to go somewhere and have some renewed success.
Right.
I thought Daniel Jones was another good example. He was having a hell of a year in Indy last year before he got himself hurt. And now they're stuck in a situation to where, okay,
Yeah.
Do we give Daniel Jones another
Right.
opportunity? We still got Anthony Richardson here.
Yeah.
Like,
Are you convinced Daniel Jones would be really good next year? I'm not.
No, but we also dismissed Sam Darnold's year in Minnesota because
That's
because
true.
We did.
because it didn't end well.
Right.
So
And Daniel Jones didn't even do it for a full year.
I mean,
though.
it would have to be what.
But Daniel Jones did have one good year with the Giants, where Sam Darnold had no good years
Yeah.
before Minnesota.
I think
so-
it would come down to the contract for me.
Yeah,
with
yeah.
Jones.
I think sometimes it comes down to money, it comes down to fit, and it comes down to what works best for you. And I think and with Daniel Jones, for example, he gets to Indy, and whatever they was doing in Indy, it just seemed like to mesh well with his skill set and how he go about things. And I think that fit matters when it comes to a lot of these situations.
Yeah.
I mean, we just talked about Alex Smith. He ain't really get that good till he got with Andy Reid. And so if you with Andy Reid,
Yeah.
you know, that coaching and that development is going to put you in situations to where you can exploit what you do best better. So
Good point.
When it comes to rookie quarterbacks,
Yeah.
and I'm going to ask this because it's Cleveland and we're dealing with Gabriel and Shador and guys who are coming off their first year.
Yeah.
Do you think teams will be a little more, and I'm not saying 7 years, but maybe one extra year, a few extra games? Even if
It
it's
comes
just
down
a
to
bigger
contract.
look?
No, I don't
It's
think
really
so.
the contracts really sort of structure the timeline on that.
I don't think there's been a dramatic shift in how teams are looking at quarterbacks now.
If the reason why I say with contracts is if you don't extend a guy, the first chance you get,
Yeah.
it changes the relationship.
100%.
It changes how the quarterback views
Yes.
that franchise because
Right.
it's like it happened with Baker. It happened with
Right.
What they do?
and it can be repaired. It's possible.
Sure,
but
but
you're
it
right. It changes the relationship.
What did the Browns do with Miles the second he was eligible for
Yeah.
an extension? They signed
Right.
him. What did they do with Nick Chubb the second he was
Yeah.
eligible for an extension? They signed him. What did they do with Baker? Made him wait.
Yeah.
They weren't convinced. It changed the relationship. So you really have like 3 years to make a choice on these guys.
Right.
And so no, I don't think anything's really
No.
going to change because the structure of the contracts is what makes you have to make fast decisions on
Right.
guys.
If the
And if there's an injury, God help you. Good luck.
yeah, I mean the Jay McCarthy has played how many games? 10?
J.J. McCarthy in his career?
Yeah. Well, he didn't play 2 years ago, so it's whatever he did this
J.J.
year.
McCarthy has played 10 professional games as an NFL
10
quarterback.
games.
Six
The
of
only
four.
reason the Vikings might not replace him is because they might not have anybody to replace
He's
him with.
been horrible.
Yeah, but it's
Horrible.
only 10 games.
Yeah, I know.
But they might move on
But,
anyway.
but in 5 years, maybe he'll figure it out.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
might.
Yeah,
He
he might.
might.
He
It's-
might, but it won't be in Minnesota.
It's funny because they was like, man, I told somebody the best I ever seen J.J. McCarthy play. It seemed like every time he played Ohio State, he showed up
Yeah.
to play.
when they knew what play was coming.
Michael, I mean, how many games has Michael Penix played? Probably around 10 also. Maybe a little more.
I've had this
more than
conversation
that.
with
More
Mike.
than
I've had this conversation with a few people. You know, just being a football fan abroad. I remember watching that situation in Minnesota, knowing that Sam Darnold was about to be a free agent. And I said, man, I can care less about them drafting J.J. McCarthy. They need to do what they have to do to re-sign Sam Darnold. I looked
Yeah.
at the Minnesota Vikings as a team that was right there on the cusp of being able to go compete for a Super Bowl. You got an all-star, you got an all-pro wide receiver in Justin Jefferson. You got a solid defense. You got some weapons on offense. And because of the politics of football, meaning because you invested draft capital in J.J. McCarthy,
Yeah.
you decided to roll with that investment over what was right in front of you. And look what happened. Everything just fell apart. I'm pretty sure Justin Jefferson is unhappy. And, I mean, the GM got fired.
Yeah.
And now it's going to be a
That's
bunch
right.
of turnaround to where you wonder now if Sam Darnold had the opportunity to run it back another year in the same system with the same coaches and the same players that developed
Would have been a
chemistry.
different. Yeah, who knows?
Who knows what happened
Right,
with the
right, right.
Minnesota Vikings? And I just think overall, sometimes teams get bogged down on the politics of football. Because I invested this draft capital, I can't
Absolutely.
move off of this. And that's
Yeah.
crazy. That's a crazy
Yeah.
way to run your organization.
No, that's a good point. I mean, yeah, sometimes you make bad decisions
Yeah.
based on bad decisions you've already made,
Right.
investing in people that maybe aren't good, and instead of just admitting it and moving on, like to some degree we talked about with Kobe Altman before, you compound the mistake by saying, no, we got to make it work with this guy.
Yeah.
The Niners, right? They drafted Trey Lance. They traded up. What'd they do? They saw Brock Purdy like this. We screwed up. Okay, let's move on from it.
Well, you know what's crazy, too, about the McCarthy-Darnold situation
Yeah.
in Minnesota? McCarthy was in line to start and he got hurt in the
Right.
preseason, tore his meniscus. According to all reports.
Yeah, Darnold was never going to play.
He was never going to play there.
McCarthy was the quarterback one as a rookie, had looked good in camp up to that point, tears his meniscus, and then Darnold comes in and then obviously plays well, never gives it back. McCarthy misses the entire season. They're one weird, random, it was a non-contact injury, away from Darnold never getting an opportunity in Minnesota.
Right.
Darnold obviously never getting an opportunity in Minnesota to parlay that into his starting situation in Seattle.
He may have never gotten another opportunity, period.
That's my point.
Had he not gotten, had McCarthy not gotten hurt. He might have just been a career backup.
And it comes down to sometimes just random luck and opportunity. Being at the right spot, at the right time, with the right team and the right coach.
All right, let's sign Mitch Trubisky. Let's go.
Spencer German's coming down in 1-6. So when he does, we'll pivot and bring Spencer on. But
by the way, you know who I met recently?
Who?
Spencer's cousin, Gregory Spain.
Spain. I figured there was a joke in here coming.
Every day, I'm doing a dad joke every day now.
Dad joke from yesterday. You got to tell me the dad.
What was my one from yesterday? I forgot.
We're talking about Christian Gonzalez.
Oh yeah. I said Christian Gonzalez's cousin was Jewish Rodriguez.
That was funny.
I know it's a terrible joke. It's not. I don't even know.
That one was pretty good. Today was terrible.
Yeah,
but you know what though? Because I know Spencer about to come down. I think
Yeah.
that's part of what makes being a GM like exciting. Like it's those situations to where, damn, like do I trade JJ McCarthy because I got Sam Darnold, or do I let Sam Darnold walk and just roll with what I got here? Because teams was calling last year like, hey, let me get your quarterback. Man, you got a veteran that was just balling out.
I wonder if this situation is different if Darnold had another year left on his contract, or you know what I mean? If he wasn't entering,
I bet they would have stuck with him if he had another year on his contract.
I tend to agree with that.
You would have sat McCarthy. You would have played Darnold another year.
But they were at a decision.
But they had to
so
decide.
fast. Yeah.
And it's exciting. It's nerve wracking at the same time. But
it's hard.
It's like, man, that's why y'all get paid the big bucks.
Pressure on those guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Vikings chose wrong. And it cost Kwesi his job.
Yeah, it did. That and maternity leave.
And so did the Browns, and it didn't cost Andrew Berry his job.
You know what? If McCarthy turned out to be really good, no one would have gave a rat's ass for maternity leave.
It wouldn't have mattered.
Nobody would have cared. It just gets
even if Darnold had played as well as he had, if McCarthy had been good, then you'd be like, okay, that was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
But McCarthy stunk, and Darnold was great, or very good.
Well, it's the same thing here with Chubb and Quinshon. I mean, I know we've gone back and forth on Quinshon, and the overall numbers weren't great, but people saw enough in there to think, all right, you got something. If Quinshon had been a total buster, if he was hurt all year, people would have screamed all year about letting
especially
Nick
if
Chubb
Chubb had been good, which he wasn't really good.
Yeah,
but
I remember the game Minnesota played Chicago last year on national TV. And JJ
last year meaning 24?
2025, last
okay.
season. And JJ McCarthy is playing god awful. And I jump on Twitter and I'm like, man, this dude stink.
Yeah.
By the end of the game, he done turned it around in the second half, balled out, they win the game. And I got people on my mentions like, shut up. You don't know nothing. JJ the truth.
You broke the cardinal rule, never talk trash on a guy during the game.
That's right.
Yeah.
Then you get freezing cold takes.
Yep.
I'll come back and quote tweet myself though. Like,
you got to do that. That's the right thing.
Get out in front of it. You know what I'm saying?
Get out in front of when
like
you
an 8 mile rap battle. You know what I'm saying? You say everything that they possibly can say about you before they say it, and you out in front of it. It don't hit as hard.
That's true. That's what like a couple of a month ago when I said the Browns had a better chance to win a championship than the Cavs. That was the dumbest thing I've ever said in my life.
Well, there's probably some competition.
I mean, there is competition. I once, in the first couple of years of my career, I said the Ravens should cut Ed Reed.
That's definitely dumb.
It was his rookie season. I didn't know,
And you didn't want LeBron back, right?
No, he told this story about Ed Reed and Bull. Was like, looking back.
Well, it was his rookie year. Obviously I didn't know how good he was going to be. He was showboating on an interception and dropped the ball before the end zone. And I hate when players do that.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, cut his ass, get him out of here.
Well, there was some player
dumb.
you didn't want. And you said later that was dumb. I thought it was LeBron. No?
No.
Well, let me do a read. You think of that, and we'll bring Spencer German into the fold
Yeah, go
here.
ahead.
Guys, Spencer's interview today is brought to us by Mally's. All you need is love and chocolate this Valentine's Day. Be ready to say those 3 little words. I got Mally's. From friendship to love to every situationship in between. Mally's has the perfect chocolate to say what you feel. Their famous chocolate-covered strawberries and grapes are back in stores February 13th and 14th, and like the rest of their Valentine's Day favorites. Gold Cup assortments, foil wrapped milk and dark chocolate hearts, peanut butter caramel, raspberry marshmallow filled hearts. They have everything you can imagine and so much more. Plus, they're all in stores now this Valentine's Day. Say it with Mally's.
All right, Spencer's with us. Spencer and Earl do a show on the weekends. You guys want to promote your show? Because unlike the fan, we don't like. We're not where you can't promote this show.
I think this is dope. This is the first time me and Spencer been on this panel together.
Go ahead.
Me and
Promote
Spencer
your
are
show.
co-hosts. You can catch Earl of Pearl and Spencito, Spencer German every Saturday on 92.3 The Fan from 8 to noon, man. We got the best sports takes. We think we got the best show on The Fan, despite the morning
Some
boys.
people tell us that too when they call in.
Yeah,
so.
they say, we got the best
Yeah, you get
show.
that?
Yeah. So we killing it. We do a pretty good number on a Saturday. Keith can confirm. He can confirm.
Can he?
We have a.
All right, I'll text him.
We have a damn good time. A lot of
Yep.
chemistry here, man. We killing on Saturday.
And who's after you? Is it Daryl and?
They come on
Sunday.
on Sundays.
Yeah.
So we don't leave no meat on the bone. Can't nobody be after us on a Saturday.
Just go to the network.
Westwood 1. That's what it is.
Yeah. Little college football.
Nobody can follow us.
Little college
Nobody don't follow us.
baby.
Hey, what?
They can't follow you
Straight
up.
like that.
There you go. All right, so make sure if you're not doing so already, help raise their ratings even more.
Thank you.
Or when are you guys going to be live on YouTube on that show?
That's a good question.
Are Baskin and Phelps now live on YouTube?
Yeah, I think they were like the last. They were like the
They were the last
stragglers of the
hurrah.
group. The old timers. They were like, we don't want it.
We got to get Nick off YouTube. My God, Nick. I mean, Nick, listen, as a fellow fat guy, we can't be going looking homeless every day. Let's go. Take it up a little bit, Nick.
I can hear with Nick now. What do you mean, boy? Show your work.
By the way, whenever Nick says on air, I got a comment from Adam from Rocky River. He's talking about me. Because I text the two of them during the show and harassed them.
I feel like there was like a good week where Nick was like, "Oh, we're on YouTube now," and like him and JP like really made a point, making
Yeah.
sure they like really
Like shower
dressed
and
up.
everything.
And,
Yeah.
and then I think they quickly went back to
That
like,
was
"Yeah,
it.
this is what I,
that's too much.
This is what I do every
This is
day.
doing way
It's,
too
you know,
much."
it's what I'm used to."
All right. Spencer, we were talking about the earlier, the head coach rankings. Did you see that from ESPN?
I did, yeah.
What do you think of that? You want to defend your coach here?
So actually, this is good timing because
Yeah.
I was tweeting back and forth with Nick Camino literally yesterday, and he had posted that graphic, and I quote tweeted it because I have this theory that like if you go back and look at the 2022 class of coaches, I think there was also 10 coaches hired that cycle. It might have been like 8 or 10.
Was it 10?
And
Crazy.
only 2 of them
Yeah.
are still in their current jobs. It's Kevin
Right.
O'Connell and it's Todd Bowles. And so my thought process on this is 2 to 3 years from now, there could be like 2/3 of this entire
Gone.
coaching carousel gone.
Yeah. Yep.
And 6 of them are first-year head coaches, including Todd Monken.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of banking on the fact that like Todd Monken has a little more experience in the NFL than some of these guys in terms of he's never been a head coach, but like he's been around, he's seen
Sure.
some things, right? So my thought is like if you're giving me Todd Monken to the field for who gets fired first, I think the field. I think I would take the field in that scenario because there's 5 other first-time coaches. You also got to think about situations like if the Bills flame out like 2 years in a row in the second round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Brady could be.
Do we think he's keeping his job?
Yeah, but if they could, I mean, I think Todd Monken could be fired after a year, though. Like I
True.
don't think that's.
My thing is though, I think the Browns at least have some understanding of like where they're at as a franchise. Like Andrew Berry
You
is.
do?
Well, Andrew Berry is openly talking about
Yeah.
how there's going to be a lot of turnover on offense.
Yeah,
so
yeah, right.
I think they understand like we're going to have a lot of young players. When you know that's the situation, I think like Todd Monken didn't sign up for this because he thought like, oh, we're going to win the Super Bowl next year. So I think I think that gives him a little bit of leeway, unless it's like Freddie Kitchens bad, unorganized at practice, everything's out of whack. Like, which I don't think it's I don't think it's going to be like that.
It certainly won't. But they've fired 2 coaches in 1 year.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's likely, but you're right in that Joe Brady and what's his name in Baltimore?
Jesse Minter.
Those guys have a lot more pressure to win right now because they're
Yeah.
going into ready-made, excellent situation. In fact, every coach, except for maybe Arizona's coach, is going into far better or most of them are going into far better situations than he is. But still, you never know with Jimmy. This idea that he's learned his lesson because Kevin Stefanski made it a while, I don't know that I buy that. But yeah, I mean, if it's against the field, it's 5 other coaches.
Yeah.
So, all right, I can go with the field. I guess you're right.
9 other coaches.
Well, no, he's saying the other first-year coaches.
for the first year.
Yeah.
I got
The
you.
other first year.
Well, in theory, like, one of those other guys could get fired quickly. Like if,
Yeah.
But I think Kevin's going to be okay in
Yeah, I don't think he'll be
Atlanta.
fired
Like I
quickly.
think that team's ready to win, and he's in a good situation. It kind of reminds me a lot of when he came to Cleveland.
Well, but they need a quarterback, too.
That's true.
Yeah.
I think Harbaugh is going to be fine in New York, at least for a while. So, like, I'm a little more confident in those guys. Mike McCarthy's an interesting one because similar situation, like experienced coach, but Pittsburgh they fired the other guy because he wasn't getting it done in the playoffs anymore. And what is he going to do with the Steelers?
Right, but they also don't fire coaches there.
True.
I mean,
They don't pay coaches that are not working in Pittsburgh.
So
right, yeah.
Christian Jones, Deuce Staley, the assistant offensive line coach, all were retained by Todd Monken. We all know the list of coaches that were brought over from Baltimore. In your opinion, what do you make of, him meshing new voices and then keeping some type of continuity at the same time as he kind of builds his first staff as an NFL head coach? What do you think about that approach?
Yeah, I appreciate that in a coach. I think it sort of shows this blending of – I think it honestly speaks to everything Todd Monken's kind of represents since he got here, right? The idea that he doesn't have – he's different from Kevin Stefanski in that he's not coming in here and saying, this is my offensive system, this is the quarterback I need, this is the running game I need, this is the type of offensive lineman I need. He wants to play to the strength of his players. And I've always felt that was like the mark of what makes a good coach is that they don't try to fit a square peg in a round hole and come in and say, we're going to do things my way and it's this and it's that they're kind of willing to adapt. And, Todd Monken's been to a bunch of different places where he's coached with different styles of quarterbacks. He coached Jameis Winston in Tampa Bay. He coached Stetson Bennett at Georgia. He obviously coached Lamar, who has a very unique skill set. So, I think it speaks to that and the fact that you're keeping some guys in-house. I think keeping Deuce Staley's huge. He's one of the best coaches in that building, I think, by far. And the guys who really work with him love him. He makes them work hard, but he also gets the most out of them and cares about them as people. And I think Deuce at some point is going to be a guy who's looking at getting head coaching jobs eventually. So, yeah, I think it's good that he's kind of leaning on some of the guys that are still here and understanding that not everything didn't work here, but then also trying to bring in some new ideas and some fresh concepts to things.
Go ahead.
I was going to change the Cavs, so if you want
Yeah,
to
go ahead. No, yeah.
Harden, what do you think?
I'm going to be honest, when the trade first came down, I don't know, I didn't actually see what your thoughts were on it, Jason, but when the trade first came down, I was screaming to the mountaintops, this is a terrible idea. Fit's not going to be there. We know the Cavs' biggest gripe with the Cavs is this group hasn't been able to get it done in the playoffs. Yeah. And you're bringing in a player who notoriously hasn't been able to get it done in the playoffs. So I kind of wondered about how that was going to work. But, again, 3-game sample size. I'm not trying to, ride totally off just the vibes of this honeymoon phase that the Cavs are in, and I think with him right now. But the first 3 games, it's been good returns. You see the extra attention that he draws, the opportunities that creates for example, last night, what we saw with Sam Merrill and him being able to go off and score 32 and knock down a bunch of threes. I'm curious to see what it looks like when Evan gets back out there. And certainly he's unlocked Jared Allen, another level to Jared Allen's game. He's playing he looks like a completely different player almost to me.
It's amazing,
the
right?
physicality part of how he always gets criticized for not being tough enough and all that. He's really become a scrappy guy, going to the basket, grabbing boards.
Yeah.
So I would say
you're changing your mind.
What I would say is I'm cautiously optimistic. I think this feels like the right fit of players around Harden that it could work. I also am not blown away by the Eastern Conference to think that the Cavs can't come out of the Eastern Conference.
Right.
I have some questions about a few teams they would play in the West that in terms of matchups and how they would go against Cleveland if they were to make it out of the East. But I still have in the back of my mind all the images of Harden having bad games and series clinching games.
He's got to change that.
And wondering how it's going to work.
Yeah. All right, let's break down the big Guardians news of the last few weeks. CJ Kafis had the dots removed from C and J. Are you excited about that?
Are they going to use the money that they save on printing?
On
the back.
So. That's
they're going to put that back into the roster.
Yeah, they're going to give Austin Hedges a
They
bonus.
did make a signing today.
They did?
Ben Lively to a minor league contract.
He's
hurt for the year.
Yeah.
Zach Meisel, our guy, tweeted it out.
The athletic.
Whatever.
The unathletic.
They have spent no money, the Guardians, or virtually no money this entire offseason. They have done nothing to improve the team.
Spence.
Nobody's got comments on that?
Pick right now. Who's the starting quarterback for the Browns week 1?
I would say Shedeur. I think Shedeur right now. But I've been talking about this a lot on Locked On Browns, and people I think I'm blowing a lot of people's minds at the idea that there's a lot of people I think that this group that's here right now is going to be the group when the season starts.
I don't understand why.
That's asinine to me.
It's crazy.
Do we really think?
Told you multiple times.
G and Tyvus think it's going to be that. I think they're both out of their mind.
That's what I'm saying. Do they really think that a new coach is going to come in and arrive with an entire quarterback room of people that he had no say in bringing in whatsoever? And I get it. It seems like he at least had interest in Shedeur when he was in Baltimore. There was kind of that conversation he had with him. But do we really think he's not going to bring in anybody of his own vision that he wants? So right now, I would say Shedeur, but I think it's very much subject to change because I think there's obviously some smoke to the Malik Willis thing. I wouldn't be surprised if they maybe draft their own project quarterback. And I'll tell you, of the guys that are currently here, I think Dylan Gabriel is probably the odd man out. I think he's the guy that ends up.
100% out. I think.
So to your point, because full disclosure, I'm kind of in line with the thought process that Tyvus and G has. I don't think the room is going to be completely the same. I do think Dylan Gabriel is the odd man out. And I heard Todd Monken talking to Nathan Segura, and he talked about, he likes what he has in the quarterback room and the possibility of adding to that room. I think he's going to add a veteran. It could be Jameis Winston. It could be Snoop Huntley. But when you talk about the quarterbacks that's here already, Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders have key elements and key components to what they do well that fits what Todd Monken likes to do. You talk about playing off script, right? Off script explosive plays. You talk about the scramble and the playmaking ability being a part of it. And I just think that he took this job. One, they did want him in Shedeur in Baltimore, but I was told that when he was the OC in Georgia, they tried to recruit Shedeur Sanders. Mm-hmm. You look at Deshaun Watson at his peak and what he can do best, and if he's really, quote-unquote, intrigued with what he see there, I think he's open to seeing what he has here, and if he don't like it, you bring in somebody else. But I don't think it's going to be a Malik Willis. One, to me, that never made sense. Him and Deshaun Watson got the same agent. Why would your agent put you in a situation to where
that is like the one small hurdle, but at the same time, his job is to get those guys paid at the end of the day. He got Deshaun clearly. He got Deshaun paid.
Sure.
And he gets Malik Willis paid. He's going to get Malik Willis paid.
Todd Monken saying he likes the quarterback room. That's meaningless.
But
what's he going to say?
I think we all have a different opinion and a different approach, but I don't think it's far fetched to say at least 2/3 of this room remains the same.
It might be, but the third, when they add at least the one other person, it's going to be a legitimate candidate for the job.
Yeah, I think
not like Snoop Huntley. I don't see that.
I envision it being. I know Kevin Stefanski called it like a four-way competition last year, and it wasn't really that. I honestly think Todd Monken will run more of a competition between Shedeur and maybe Deshaun and then whoever he brings in, assuming it's a veteran. Yeah. I think that's how he's going to treat it. The one thing I'll push back on with Deshaun though is well, first of all, I think starting Deshaun would just be a waste of time for everybody. Yeah. Fan base, the players in that locker room, the organization, you gain nothing almost from starting him other than maybe salvaging this trade potentially. But to me, it's if you're going to start somebody and there's more upside with Shedeur, maybe even Dylan if he was still here, because it's at least it's a rookie and you can see them develop in real time. And you talk about the explosiveness. I know that's something that Todd Monken's talked about, the athleticism. It was part of Lamar's game. Do we even know if Deshaun still has that though? He ruptured his Achilles twice.
I don't think he does.
And that was the one thing that when he was going through all these struggles here in Cleveland that he could lean on was the idea that, hey, I'm still athletic. I can still run around and make plays sometimes. If he doesn't have that, I don't know what's.
Shedeur's a solid athlete, but he's not explosive.
No, he's not like he's not even Malik Willis. Probably Malik Willis is even more athletic. But
I think it's going to be a competition between Shedeur and somebody that's not.
I agree.
I think it's a two-man competition. I think Watson's the third quarterback. I think Gabriel's out, and either whether it's the draft or free agency or trade, they bring in somebody to compete with Shedeur, and it's a real two-man competition.
And I do think the one value that Deshaun does bring is, in that quarterback room, I do get the sense that those guys really respect him and respect his mind as a quarterback, what he's seen in this league. And I think that's very true. But, in terms of on the field, I just don't think there's anything left to see.
I don't think Deshaun Watson's ever going to be the starting quarterback ever again.
I don't know how can the owner come out I know I keep repeating myself. How can the owner come out twice and say it was a mistake?
Yeah.
It was a swing and a miss.
Swing and a miss.
And then run him out as your starting quarterback?
Yeah,
How can
I mean,
you do that?
I said yesterday, like, I guess it's possible because Todd Monken may be like, well, this guy was great. Maybe I can find it 6 years later, but it just seems like he's shot.
I also, like, I know there's been some talk about he looked like the best guy out there on the practice field last year. I think those elite traits that Deshaun's always had definitely show themselves when you're in a practice setting. But, do I think that's going to translate to the field? No. I also think about, too, like, timeline-wise, guys, we're another year closer to them starting this dome and building this dome and trying to open the – like, they have to start getting this team going in a direction where fans are bought in, and starting Deshaun Watson is going to drive a lot of people away.
I wish we was on our show because me and you would probably be going back and forth about this all day. But Jason has brought this up a couple times. The owner cannot come out and say what he said, and then you trot Deshaun Watson out there.
Yeah.
Well, the owner came out last year and said basically and in so many words that Kevin and Andrew was both safe. And I can remember all the content we did throughout the season about one or two or both losing their job, and people in the comments, well, you heard what Jimmy said. They're not going anywhere.
But he also said they have to win more
True.
games.
Now here's the other side of it, because you brought this up. We got a brand new head coach. And if the Cleveland Browns are going to continue to do everything the same way with this new head coach that they've done in the past, as far as having a hand in the pot too much, then it's going to be the same results that it's always been.
What makes you think they're going to do it differently?
Faith. That's it. Faith.
Blind faith. Blind faith.
But to your point, if Todd Monken, this is where the cross comes over, right? And it reminds me of J.B. Bickerstaff and Kenny Atkinson to a point. Kenny Atkinson was brought here because Kobe Altman and crew believed that Kenny can develop and get more out of the current Cleveland Cavaliers roster than what the previous coach did. Todd Monken having all this experience, and we heard him talk about he understands what the challenge is. He has the challenge of building a scheme that allow the players to play fast and to play physical. And if he believes that him and his coaches can develop the talent that's here, then I think that the ownership in the front office has to be open-minded to that, no matter what they said.
I don't think they're going to stand in his way if he wants to start Deshaun Watson. I just think that's unlikely to be the case, but you never know. All right, we got some game to play, a new game that Mike has.
We do have a new game.
Spencer's going to play with us as well.
Yep.
So
we're going to do that.
Explain this game there, Mike.
I will. Before we do that, a reminder, the Charge are home tonight, 7 o'clock public call. They're taking on the number 1 seed, Toronto 905. They played on Tuesday. The Charge won by 2. Tonight's the rematch. We hope to see you there, 7 o'clock.
Are you going to be there tonight?
I will not be there tonight, no.
Slacker.
So, as you can see, everyone has their novelty James Harden beer from yesterday.
Good for you, Earl.
It is paper.
Yeah, we got him.
It is James Harden.
Yeah.
So we decided we're going to play a little James Harden trivia. Now, for anyone watching back at home, if you go on our YouTube community tab, we have posted the 8 questions on this James Harden trivia quiz. You can prove you're smarter than the panel. Instead of playing true or false, I'm going to give you an option that has the beard or no beard. I'm going to show you the question. You get 15 seconds to guess.
Okay.
I'm going to count down 3, 2, 1. You either put your beard up if you think it's the beard answer is the correct answer, or don't put it up if you believe the beard answer is the wrong answer. Earl, question.
I need somebody highly intelligent to take my place. Can I call my daughter to play for me?
No, she's way too smart for us.
Yes, she would.
She knows James Harden stats.
It wouldn't surprise me if she did.
Is she a big NBA fan?
She is a big NBA fan, bigger WNBA fan.
Okay.
So with that, let's play a little James Harden trivia,
let's do
a.k.a.
it.
beard or no beard. Steve, hit the music. First question.
Okay.
What is James Harden's career high in points? The bearded answer, 61. If you think it's 66, don't put the beard up. I'll give you guys 10 seconds to think. Bull, don't put it up yet.
Oh.
I'm going to count down.
Sorry.
We'll all do this at once. In 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, Spencer by himself here.
We got 3 for the beard answer. Earl, Jason, even though Jason was slow on the trigger pull. Jason,
I was thinking.
By the way, for the record, getting this right doesn't make you smart or dumb. It just makes you more knowledgeable or better guessing when it comes to James
I was trying to be a
Smarter
contrarian.
It was a good call.
It was 61. That is his career
61.
high. Number 2. James Harden has made more than 1,000 more threes than Kevin Durant in his career. If you think that's true, put the beard up in a second. If you think that is false. But James Harden has made more than 1,000 more threes than Kevin Durant in their careers? In 3, 2, 1, go. Earl put the beard. Everyone else says no beard.
What?
I got the beard.
Spencer's got the beard.
Spencer's beard. It is the tag team on Saturday. That is correct because the answer
That's
is it is true. For their careers, James Harden has 3,318 threes. Kevin Durant has 2,340.
Nobody's going to believe me, and it doesn't matter. I meant to have the beard up. My answer in my mind was that he.
You
and
flipped
I did
you
it
flipped
wrong.
him in your
It's a
head.
very simple
And
game.
I did it wrong. Listen, I deserve no
You get
credit.
no.
I'm really calling myself out.
He is second
for
in
screwing that
NBA
up.
history
Yeah.
and three-pointers made all
Right.
time. So, yeah.
And Durant's missed time.
He's missed
and
a lot of
and Harden
time.
I was
more.
trying to process
Yeah,
too
yeah,
much
yeah.
in a short amount of time.
We
So
screwed it up.
Earl's in the lead with 2.
No, I
correct.
meant to.
Okay.
I answered incorrectly, but
Yeah.
I answered the way I wanted to.
Okay.
Who in the league?
You are, Earl.
You're in the lead with 2 there,
correct
Earl.
answers.
Yeah, it is.
The rest of us
All right,
have
I
number
one.
thought you
three.
need your daughter too. You good?
Where did James Harden
need
play
my
college
co-host.
basketball? UCLA or Arizona State? In 3, 2, 1, go.
All no beards.
We got
and
that
all no
one.
beards were correct.
got
He
that
is an
one.
Arizona State Sun Devil.
I figured they knew it because these guys probably paid more attention to that stuff than I do. And if I knew it, so I figured everybody was going to get it right.
All right, number 4. We got 8 of these, so it's the halfway
Okay.
point. James Harden is top 10 in
Now, that's only
both.
3, Mike, so we're not at the halfway point.
This is number 4.
Oh, okay, I see. So
it
we'll
is
be at the halfway point after this one.
Sure.
I love busting your balls.
James Harden is top 10 all time in both points and assists. If you believe this is true, you're going to throw the beard up. If you believe it is false, keep the beard down.
Let me ask you a question, qualifier. Is it either all true or all false, or could it be 1 and 1?
It could be 1-1.
Okay.
Could be.
All right.
In
Top 10
3,
all time in both. The word both is right there. Both points and assists.
I understand that, but a lot of times when Mike has done things like this, he'll say to us, he is actually, anyway, it doesn't matter. Go ahead.
He should have been a judge, a lawyer, or a prosecutor.
I would have been a great.
He's more literal than I am.
I would have been a great litigator. Yes.
All right.
Go ahead.
In 3,
But I'd be bored.
2, 1, go.
All no
I
beards.
was trying to fake
Yeah.
bull out.
I think
Top 10 in points, top
11.
11.
I was gonna say he's
in
11th in assists, right?
Yeah.
I thought I,
think-
remembered you saying he was 11th.
I'm 95% sure, Mike.
Yeah.
You were there last night.
No,
Didn't he
he's
say?
9th
Didn't he
in
say
points.
that during his press conference last night?
He said he's top 10 in points, which is correct. He's 9th in points. He's 11th in assists.
Yeah, I literally think he mentioned that in his
He did.
press conference. So that reminded
Who's
me.
8th?
In which one?
Points.
I just looked this up last night. It's a retired guy.
Is he close to that guy?
Next, like, end
The
of
all-time
like
Will
3,000
Chamberlain is 8th. He'll break it. He'll get 8th next year.
3,000 away from him. Like he
Yeah.
can. There's 2 or 3 guys he could probably jump next year, maybe.
Yeah. Durant's still playing. Durant's one of the guys.
Well, who's right above Wilt? There's another one he can
Dirk.
jump.
He could pass Dirk. Yeah.
How old? Can you
Is
imagine
Dirk right
if
in
Wilt
front of him?
went straight from
I was
from
gonna
high
guess.
school to the NBA? All right, go ahead.
Next one, we did James Harden's career high in points. What about his career high in assists? 21, if you believe the beard. 19, if you want to say no beard. In 3,
I think I know this.
2, 1, go. Beard for Jason, beard for Earl, beard for Spencer. Bull, you're either on an island, but you're not because you lost. It is 21.
I had no clue. I saw them all starting to lift there. I was like, I got to be contrarian here. Like Spencer
is
tried,
follow my
and like
strategy.
you, it failed for me.
Yeah, it didn't work.
Earl is still
Not
in
going
the lead
well.
here with 3 questions left. They get a little harder as we get to the
5 and 0.
Are you
Next
5 and
up.
0?
5 and 0.
He
Good
is.
job.
He is. Next up, James Harden has more triple doubles in his career than Draymond Green and Michael Jordan combined. If you believe this is true, that'll be the bearded answer. False, keep it down. In 3, 2, 1, go. Beard.
Jason's the only one with no beard.
Jason's a no beard. And Earl is staying 6 for 6 here, guys.
Oh.
It is. He
You
has
gotta get Earl.
83.
You gotta get Earl to mess one of these up.
What's the standings?
Earl's 6-0.
And the rest of us have 4? Or?
Correct.
4.
Okay.
I think I
Well, Spencer might
have
have
5. I think I only missed the first one. I think.
Spencer's
Yeah, Spencer's got 5.
Yes.
Jason and I have
Yes.
4.
2 more.
Yeah.
Does James Harden have more scoring titles or assist titles, meaning he led the NBA in assists and/or scoring.
What else could that mean?
Out there. we got 4,000
Now he
people watching
gets
live right
it.
now. I just want to make sure all 4,000 of them are on the same playing field.
All right.
More assists or more scoring titles. Scoring titles for the beard, assist titles for the no beard. In 3, 2, 1, and go.
Jason and I
Of course you
Jason
finally
and I
missed
went-
one, and I.
You went beard?
Yeah.
He
Jason
did.
and I went beard. What's the answer?
Oh, it is more
It was-
scoring
it was
titles. You guys are
scoring
correct.
So we were right.
How many you
guys
got?
are correct.
Is it?
I think we're all tied now.
So 6.
No, he's one up.
He's got Earl's got 6. Spencer,
Oh, yeah, you
Jason,
got-
and I have
you
You all
5.
have 5. Correct.
Still anybody's game going into this last one.
Here we go.
It comes that last one. I will find an extra question if you
All right.
get
Well,
tied.
the only way, yeah, right,
We're just gonna keep going.
yeah.
I
Spencer,
will
Jason,
make
and I
it
will have to have a different answer than just Earl.
Yes, but if anyone ties, if someone goes
Okay,
against
yeah,
Earl
all right.
here, the last question.
I gotta be eyeing Earl out of the side of my eye.
James Harden has the most three-point makes in this draft class.
Oh man,
Tough one.
If you
who
believe
was
that
in
to
this
be
draft
true,
class?
leave the beard up.
Was
Believe
Steph
it
in
to
his
be
draft
false,
class?
put it down. The answer in 3, 2, 1, go. And everyone had it correct because Steph Curry
Earl.
in the NBA.
We all started to try to fake each other out.
Steph Curry was in James Harden's
All
draft.
right, Earl's the winner.
Those two are 1 and 2 all time in three-point makes in the NBA.
Who was it? I'm sorry.
Was it
Steph
Steph?
Curry.
Oh yeah.
Who was in his draft?
What year
So
was
Earl
that?
got
Was that-
7.
So I was
the rest
right,
of
he
us
was in
got
his
6. We all
draft
did well.
That was just a guess.
08, 09?
The 09 draft class.
9.
No, we all got 75% or better.
I just want to thank my higher power. I want to thank my parents in heaven. I want to thank, everybody on this panel. Shout out to my co-host for holding me down. I couldn't have done this without you. Cleveland, this is for you.
It's kind of crazy, by the way, like with the way Steph's career started with all the ankle injuries, like how he surpassed because James Harden's great too.
Yeah, right,
But,
right.
He's surpassed him. He's greatest
Yeah.
shooter of all time.
It's funny
crazy.
because
And we hated him, and now I hated him when the Cavs
Yeah.
were playing them, and now I love him.
I hated him from the standpoint of it was just annoying to have to see the
Right.
Cavs face him every
The
year.
mouth
but
guard would
and
drive
the
me
mouth
crazy.
guard thing. But when you saw him do other stuff off the court,
Yeah, no, he's always been a good
I always
dude
felt
off the
like I hated Draymond. Like I still don't really like
Yeah,
Draymond.
yeah.
I've
Nah, but
always had
you're
an
right.
affinity
I
for
know
Steph. It's
Jason
just,
you're right
it's just annoying.
because Jason watched a lot of basketball. I bet you when he was born, Dale was looking at him, and at no point did he ever think that my son will be a better shooter than me. Because his father had a clip.
Yeah.
So you know how good of a shooter Steph is? So James Harden's second all-time in threes with 3,318. I'll say it again, 3,318.
Yeah.
Steph has 4,233.
What percentage?
And again,
do you
he was
think-
injured so much early in his career. It's crazy.
What part of it though is guys when the 3-point line first came in, guys weren't shooting like this. It's just you just weren't doing that. I'm sure there would have been guys that were.
Mark Price.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's an
It doesn't
absurd,
take away from
it's
him,
an
but-
absurd number.
But also, I wonder if you can find this out at some point, Mike. Like the percentage of, how there's like this stat of contested versus non-contested. I wonder if the percentage of non-contested three-pointers overall now versus back in the day is lower of contested threes.
I'd have to look. Before we do super chats, though,
Yeah.
this is a group activity. Spence, we're going to hold you till 1 o'clock, just a heads up,
That's cool.
unless you have to leave.
I got
How
nowhere
many?
to be.
So I gave you 2. Harden and Steph, they're 1, 2.
Yeah.
How many more of the top 10 in all-time career three-point makes can you name?
Oh, man.
Ray Allen,
Reggie
He's
Miller.
3.
Reggie
Reggie
Miller,
Miller's
yeah.
7, so you got 4.
Nice job, guys. LeBron.
He's on there. He's 6 all-time. That's
Dirk?
half the top 10.
Is Dirk?
Dirk is not on there.
Is Durant? I know you gave us their 3-point numbers earlier. Is Durant on
Durant
there?
is number 10, correct.
Okay,
That's
Carmelo?
6. Nope.
No.
that's a good guess though. I like that.
Is Dale Curry on there?
No.
How many are we missing? Now?
There's no. Is there anybody that's retired on the list? Or
Yes. Well, you already named the retired one in Reggie Miller. You guys have Steph,
yeah.
Harden, Ray Allen, Reggie, LeBron, and Durant. You have 6 of the 10. You're missing 4. And 2 are active.
So 2 are retired?
2 are active, 2
2
are
are
retired.
retired.
Are they like retired in the last like 5 years?
No, 3 are active. Excuse me, 3 are active.
Okay.
1 retired.
Is the guy retired recently or like in the last 5 years? or no?
Relatively recently, and played for the Cavs.
And played for the Cavs.
Dwayne Wade.
No.
Oh, Kyle Korver?
Correct. Oh, 8th all time.
Nice job. That's a good pull.
You're missing
trying to think of
3
Cavs.
active guys.
3 active guys.
One is
Crazy
obvious.
how good
that
Kyle
you're-
Korver
Oh,
was.
Klay Thompson.
Klay Thompson's 4th all time.
Okay.
And the other 2 are both all NBA guys.
Where are they ranked, those guys? Where do they
5th and 9th. You're missing 5 and 9.
5 and 9.
So somebody who's ahead of
They're
Durant.
active.
Head of Durant, but below Clay.
Both these guys are ahead of Durant and below Klay, yes.
Kawhi Leonard.
No. Yeah, 2 more guesses before I fill you in.
2 more.
Would you like a hint on one of them?
Nah. You guys want a hint?
Yeah.
Give us a hint.
Number 5,
Yeah.
longtime Western Conference guard, known for big.
Oh,
playoff
what's his name? Who was in Portland?
Damian.
Oh,
Lillard.
Damian
Damian
Lillard.
Lillard. Good
Yeah,
name.
that's a good one.
Yes, he's-
That's a trick too because he's active, but he's not really playing
Right,
right
you
now.
don't
So
think about
we
it.
were all
Yeah.
thinking of guys who were like, "Oh, who's out there every day?"
Yeah, right.
Technically, number 9 is currently suspended, but he is active
He's suspended.
for steroids.
Paul George.
Yep.
Oh, good,
Didn't
good.
even
So
think
your
of
top
that.
I
10
never would have guessed.
in order: Steph, Harden, Ray Allen, Klay Thompson, Damian Lillard, LeBron James, Reggie Miller, Kyle Korver, Paul George, and Kevin Durant. And if nothing else shows you how much basketball has changed,
Right, exactly.
15th all time in the history of the NBA in made threes is Buddy Hield.
Buddy
Right, I mean,
Hield.
that's
And
crazy.
Tim Hardaway Jr. is 19th.
Yeah, that's
in the history of
insane.
the
Yeah,
league.
that's insane.
Yeah, like-
Where's Bird? He had a ton
They
of
just
injuries.
they didn't shoot threes
I
like
know.
that.
He had a
though.
lot of injuries in his back.
But he would have been like if he played now.
Oh.
You forget about it.
That's crazy.
Larry Bird is not in the top 100.
Wow. The guy
didn't
did-
shoot
Let me
threes.
confirm this, but I just did the confirmed search.
Wow.
again. You should know that
Yeah,
guys
but
didn't
top
shoot
100?
Buddy Hield is in the top 20, Jason.
Top 100.
I barely even know who he is, Buddy Hield. Played for Sacramento, right?
Yeah, he's fine.
Buddy Hield.
Shout out to Reggie Miller, the only guy from like a past time
Yeah,
of basketball
he's
who's
the
in
one-
the top
he's
10.
the
All right,
one
you guys
guy.
ready for this?
Yeah.
This is going to blow your mind. Let me confirm. Hold on one sec.
I mean, Evan Mobley might have more threes than some of those guys.
When it's all said and done.
Yeah, right.
So Steph Curry, let me start. So Larry Bird in his career made 649 threes.
That's not
649.
compared to 4,000 for
Yeah.
Steph.
Steph Curry, by the way, in one season has made 402 once.
Yeah. That's the only year I voted him MVP and not
In,
LeBron.
in their prime, one-on-one, Steph Curry, Larry Bird. No contest.
Oh,
It's whoever gets ball first.
Bird would destroy him.
It's whoever gets ball first. If you're playing winners,
I was gonna say if winners, yeah, you make it, you keep
it,
it,
take
make
it,
you take it.
Take it.
Someone's
I
not
don't think
missing.
Larry's stopping Steph, and I don't think Steph's stopping Larry.
Well, Steph has no chance of
I
stopping
mean,
Larry.
Larry's
Larry's big.
significantly bigger.
Yeah, he's
than
like
Steph.
10 inches taller.
It's a great
Yeah,
question.
Yeah.
We got 2 super chats. And
All right,
then
go ahead.
Extra second, I'll throw you another basketball trivia question.
Yeah.
Crow Daddy says, love having Earl back on the show. Don't miss the clowning. I appreciate his level-headed analysis.
Thank you.
Ooh.
Appreciate you.
And Mr. In My Zone says, LeJounte Wester possibly to come available from Baltimore. He was a late-round pick last year, played with Sanders at Colorado, punt returner slot, knows the system and how quarterback one plays.
Would be available for what?
A late-round pick.
Oh, I never heard of him. Anybody heard of him?
What's his name again?
LeJounte, I mean, I know he played at Colorado. LeJounte Wester.
Is he a draft? Is he a guy who's supposed to be drafted?
No, he's on. He's,
No, he's
on the
on
Ravens.
Baltimore.
He's on
Oh,
the Ravens.
okay.
They're saying trade a late round pick for him, I guess.
What? For a guy on the practice squad?
Don't.
I didn't say him. I didn't say him.
Oh, because he played with Shador. Okay.
And
yeah.
Monken, and he knows
Oh,
the
yeah,
Todd
yeah.
system.
Okay.
He was a great returner though in his rookie season. In
Browns have not
Baltimore.
had good
Okay.
returners.
All right,
He
Mike.
had, real quick, he
Yeah.
had 0 catches for 0 yards last year. 16 returns for 198 yards. That's all the stats I could find.
All right.
10
Maybe
kick returns.
LeJohn
Small
Wester
sample
will
size.
be
6
here.
yards.
You know who LeJohn Wester's cut? No, okay. All right.
Easter.
No, let me hear it, but we got a minute.
No, I didn't have one. I was just joking around.
Spence, real quick, what did you think of the Sam Merrill one-man Cavalanche yesterday?
Oh, it was awesome. Actually, I was going to ask, where's Sam Merrill on that all-time
Yeah.
three-pointers made
He's
list?
moving up. He's probably got more threes than Larry Bird
So
already.
I was talking.
soon.
I was talking to my
Sam
guy.
Merrill passed Dean Wade last night on the Cavs all-time.
Did he?
point
Wow.
list. 12 all-time now for Sam Merrill.
I was talking to my guy Spencer Davies from Clutch Points last night.
Shout out to Spence.
And he said by accident he was doing a story on somebody else, and he went and searched like the best 3-point catch and shoot 3-point percentage in the NBA, and he's just miraculously sort of stumbled into the fact that it's Sam Merrill. He's shooting like
the only
46.5%.
The
or
only
something
issue
on
with
catch and
that,
shoots.
I looked that up this morning. Our guy's wrong. Sam Merrill's tied for 5th, according to NBA.com. We love Spencer Davies.
Oh no,
Love
Spence!
Spencer Davies, but
Spencer,
I
you're a
found some
slacker,
different
man.
numbers, so
He
we'll
steered
see
me
you in
wrong.
overtime.
That's the statistician
See ya.
back there.
Peace.